Valley. You're watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Yeah, this has been the center of the college football universe all week. But here in Death Valley, they're focused on winning the final home game for this group of seniors and heading to Norman on a high note next week. Their opponent, the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, coming in at 8-2 on the season, and their dreams of a conference championship still within their reach. More on that in just a moment. LSU has dominated non-conference opponents here in this building. The Fighting Tigers have won 69 of their last 70, and they're hoping to take down the boys from Western Kentucky and keep that run going. They'll be led on the field by the coolest mascot in all of sports. Big Red ready to roll against the purple and gold tonight, and against an LSU program that has won 22 of its last 24 games under the lights here at Tiger Stadium. Interim head coach Frank Wilson at the head of the line for this LSU team. He wants them to play with confidence and pride as they take the field tonight. Tigers are bowl eligible for the 26th consecutive season. Let's go down to the field along with Frank Wilson. Here's Cole Kublik.
Coach Wilson, here on senior night, what does it mean to have linebacker Whit Weeks in the lineup for you?
It's a big deal. It speaks to his character of him wanting to play this game for himself, but also for his older brother, who's a senior, Wes Weeks, to go out and be able to compete in this day.
Your roots run deep in this state, Coach. The second time that you've done this inside this stadium. Describe what it means to you.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal for our university, our city, our state, to be able to come here and play our very best on senior night here in Tiger Stadium.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Cole, thank you. Well, as you may know, it is a program in transition. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. Let's take a look at where this all started and how it started. This is an LSU team that had the lead at halftime against Texas A&M. Things were humming right along. And then the second half happened. They're outscored 35-7 in the second half against the Aggies. It didn't take long for the axe to fall. The very next day, Brian Kelly left the football facility, fired as the head coach, first in the last 4 head coaches not to win a national title. Offensive coordinator Joe Sloan would follow him the next day, and within the week, the man who made the call to make those changes, Scott Woodward, was out as athletic director. So if that wasn't enough, now we go into senior day, and they're without their starter and their leader, number 18, Garrett Nussmeier. And now LSU trying to make sense of all this with all of this transition and finish on a high note.
Yeah, and all that being said, without those pieces, without your coach, without the college football playoff as that goal still in a reality, sometimes the motivation might dip. But I think this team, and Frank Wilson agrees, is gaining steam because you got young guys with opportunities like Michael Van Buren, the young talented quarterback, started 8 games last year at Mississippi State. He was the number 4 pocket passer coming out of high school, made his first start last week against Arkansas, got a win, making his second start tonight. I think there's a lot of hope about what the future could look like with Michael Van Buren. We were down on the field. He got a really loud cheer from the crowd when he was announced. So I think this LSU fan base excited about what this future could look like with number 11.
And the offense, Cole Kublik, has looked different in recent weeks. They've looked more physical. Is that what you've seen?
Absolutely, Tom. There have been a few things done through formations and alignment to sort of even things up, help the run game get going a little bit. But there's a common theme around this LSU program, specifically the LSU coaching staff. I talked to Kyle Williams on the field before the game, defensive line coach. Alex Atkins, the new offensive line coordinator, new offensive coordinator, who has a background coaching the offensive line. Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator. They all talked about leveling up the intensity in practice, the physicality in practice, going inside drill, going 9-on-7, things that had not been done for weeks or months inside this program. That's going to help both sides of the football. It's going to help this entire football team here tonight.
All right, so Western Kentucky program, which comes in on a 3-game win streak, just the 3rd non-conference program in history to enter Tiger Stadium with 8 wins on the season. Cameron Flowers is back to receive for head coach Tyson Helton, and we are underway on this Saturday night in Death Valley. No return for Western Kentucky. LSU had won the toss but deferred. So the Hilltoppers at 8-2, have a chance to play for a Conference USA title. They've got Jacksonville State next week in conference play to try to win that game and qualify. But first, Rodney Tisdale Jr., who's coming off of a massive performance against their rivals from Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, a really talented young quarterback making his 4th career start. You saw the numbers there. This is an air raid based offense. They're going to throw the ball all over the place. We'll get into it. They like to call it the pro raid. Air raid concepts in the passing game, a more pro-style running attack you see here early, them spread it out. You'll see a lot of this tonight.
They go empty with 5 wide. Marvis Parrish was the running back, and a quick hit on a slant to K.D. Hutchinson as we meet the impact players.
Yeah, a couple receivers for the Hilltoppers, Matthew Henry and K.D. Hutchinson. They're going to play this game on the perimeter, try to stay out of the box against this overmatched offensive line that's overmatched. And on the other side, Mansour Delane and P.J. Woodland, 2 of the best in man coverage in the SEC.
Impact players brought to you by Hardee's, and now a run to move the chain. That's Marvis Parrish, 2 freshmen from Valdosta, Georgia. And a first down for this Western Kentucky team, which has been to 11 bowls in the last 13 seasons. And they'll run it again, and a huge hole and a beautiful cutback. Marvis Parrish has touched the ball twice and picked up a pair of first downs. That one goes for 17.
Well, you can already see the tempo affecting this LSU defense. Whit Weeks out there in the lineup was late getting aligned, and their ball ended up spitting right where he was supposed to be.
They're 5-1 on the season with Whit Weeks on the field. He has missed a ton of time due to injury. Another quick hitter to K.D. Hutchinson. His 2nd catch of this opening drive.
Yeah, the impact to having Whit Weeks back in the lineup is massive. You've already seen a run hit. This is a team that's going to want to throw the football, but they are so much better slowing down the run when Whit Weeks is out there.
It's just the 4th career start for Rodney Tisdale Jr. Redshirt freshman from Jacksonville at quarterback. Pressure coming, and he lets it go wide open. Musa Berry. A little stiff arm for an exclamation point at the end of 17 yards.
Oh, this is a masterful drive here early from offensive coordinator Rick Bowie. This system is Tyson Helton's. Tyson Helton and his brother are well versed in the air raid system, has done it for a long time, but 6 different offensive coordinators in the first 6 years here since 2020 have all kind of put their own flavor on this offense, and right now they have LSU on their heels.
Fresh set of downs, a little toss to the right side of the first touch for George Hart III, and the Baton Rouge native by way of Arizona State gets his first carry for the product at a Catholic high. He was the #2 player in the state a few years ago before headed to Tempe.
Boy, Harold Perkins trotting out there late. Again, LSU kind of late getting aligned to this tempo.
4-man rush and complete inside the 20 to Matthew Henry. They have shared the ball already, a pair of different ball carriers, and now 3 different receivers with a catch on this opening possession.
One thing I love about watching Rodney Tisdale is how calm he is, his demeanor. When you watch his footwork, he's quick, but he's not in a hurry. He never looks panicked. The moment never looks too big for him. Really talented kid with the right mental makeup, and now they're going to get a wildcat look here. Expect trickery out of this wildcat tonight.
And they go the handoff, and now an attempted throw, and it was incomplete. It was Parrish who was the intended receiver, and that'll bring up 4th down. Jordan, you were moving it so well throughout the entire drive. What do you think about that last play call?
Well, you know, that was something that offensive coordinator Rick Bowie mentioned. We don't really want to get in wildcat and run right at this team, so we're going to try to sprinkle in some trickery when we get in that situation. I would have put the ball back in Tisdale's hands. He was laser accurate that entire drive, but they'll settle for a field goal.
36-yard attempt for John Cannon, and he drills it. And the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, looking for the 9th win of the season, have an early lead on LSU. How's this for a historical nugget? Tyson Helton brings the Hilltoppers in as the 3rd non-SEC team to play in Tiger Stadium with 8 wins in the SEC era. Notre Dame came here late in 1971 and Florida State in 1982. Hilltoppers aiming to return to the CUSA championship game. They'll need to knock off Jacksonville State next week. I believe Jack State lost today. It would be their first CUSA loss of the year. Bring on Brown, one of the most dangerous returners in the country, back to receive for LSU. And he comes up to the 4 to handle it. Brown needs a block. He got it. And he gets submarined at the 30. And LSU will have great field position for quarterback Michael Van Buren. We may see a little Juwan Johnson behind center tonight as well. Alex Atkins is the acting offensive coordinator, taking over for Joe Sloan. And Van Buren making a second straight start.
And you're seeing a huddle here, something we talked to Alex Atkins about. You'll see a lot more. Really wanted this young quarterback, Michael Van Buren, to start to find his voice, be a leader, communicate on the field. You're going to see that a lot tonight.
And he tosses to the near side to Harlem Berry, the freshman. That was a really interesting conversation. Turning to the huddle, they said, we don't want to be a bunch of mercenaries. We want to be a team. Look in your players' eyes, relay the play call. That way you can offer even more direction in the huddle.
And not just be a robot, right? You can give little tips. Hey, give me your eyes here. Or, hey, I think I'm coming to you here if we get man coverage. I always love that part about being able to huddle. You just don't see it as much in this tempo era of college football. But at times can be very effective.
This is an LSU offense that just struggled. And Van Buren nearly got picked off on that play. They've struggled to run the ball and now struggling to get it in the air. Looking at a 3rd and short. Take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Hardee's.
Yeah, we already saw the talented true freshman Harlem Berry. You're going to see a lot more of him. Xavion Thomas, the fastest player on the field, one of the fastest in all of college football, will be a big factor tonight. Jalen Wester, a linebacker for the Hilltoppers, the leading tackler, and their best defensive lineman, Holloman, going to have to find a way to impact this young quarterback, Michael Van Buren, tonight.
Van Buren pressured, goes over the middle, incomplete. And there are no flags after he took a hit. He was trying to find Kyle Parker. LSU will go 3 and out.
Yeah, it's just a little stunt here on the inside. You're going to get one there, and the wrapper's going to come clean. The center, Braylon Moore, doesn't able to come off to it quick enough, and that pressure caused the panic or quick throw from Van Buren there, and just a little too far out in front.
It's one of those things Alex Atkins said he wants to try to get away of, as much of that slide, 3/4 slide protection to open things up in the A-gaps.
Yeah, if that center doesn't have to slide, Cole, he can just gain a little bit of depth, use his eyes, and pick that right up.
Grant Chadwick punched it away, and a fair catch taken at the 12 by Jarius Mack. 48-yard punt. Tyson Helton's got Western aiming for another bowl. 3-1 in bowls. He's won at least 8 games in 6 of 7 seasons and 6 bowl appearances. They've been to the CUSA championship game twice and could get there again. We were talking to them pregame, and they were certainly aware of the Jack State score from this afternoon. And they go head-to-head with the CUSA leader next week.
And one thing about Tyson Helton and this system that he has, the pro-rate system as they're calling it, he's been able to find and develop quarterbacks. Obviously worked with Sam Darnold at USC with his brother, Bailey Zappi here at Western Kentucky. Obviously great collegiate career, turned into a really good backup in the league and started a bunch of games. And he really thinks Rodney Tisdale has a chance to be the next one.
Tisdale delivers wide and incomplete. There is a flag. LSU defensive unit has really turned it up against the pass the last handful of games.
Pass interference, defense number 11. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
That's sophomore P.J. Woodland who gets flagged.
Yeah, Woodland working in man coverage on Musa Berry. This is a physical team on the secondary. That's who Blake Baker wants to be. He wants to be a pressure-oriented defense, play man press coverage, physical on the outside. That time Woodland just got too handsy there with an out-breaking whip route.
Toppers to run it. And past the 25 goes Marvis Parrish. So 2nd and 5 now. Western Kentucky settled for a field goal after a 9-play, 57-yard drive. Whitweek's got the start today. He's playing less than 100%. Perimeter pass to Katie Hutchinson. And he takes a pass to 35. Gain of 9. And now Witt comes off the field and hands off his time to Devon Keys.
Look what the tempo is doing. You got 1, 2, 3 receivers out here and only 1, 2 defenders. Easy read here for Tisdale. You're not going to have enough guys out there. Great, we're just going to throw it out there, pick up the first down. LSU struggling to adjust to this tempo. I've said it a few times already. See if they settle in here.
Tisdale turns back to the left, fires a bullet, and it is picked off. It's P.J. Woodland. Western Kentucky bench thought it hit the ground, and the officials now say it did and will be incomplete.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Second down.
Well, it's a great job by Woodland just adjusting to that ball. I don't think he's going to come down with it.
Nope.
He's actually in zone coverage on the vertical wide receiver, but he had eyes and vision on Tisdale and just came off his defender, or excuse me, his receiver, his responsibility, and almost made that interception.
An LSU team which has already doubled its interception total from last year. 12 picks for Blake Baker's defense and 6 all of last season. Back to the ground game, and up to the 40. Cole, what do you got?
Mansour Delaney did not start this game for LSU. Told that they were going to warm him up, see how he felt. Going to be questionable to go tonight, but we haven't seen him in game action just yet. The star cornerback for LSU here on senior night.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the country. Tied for 6th in the country with completion rate against him. He's not even in pads right now.
Yeah, he's been banged up. Groin injury since Ole Miss. They've kind of been treating him like an NFL player, giving him rest in practice, and we thought he might go. Had him as an impact player. And obviously a late scratch.
Shows you how good your impact players are, huh?
Yeah, not much of an impact on that one.
Tisdale goes down. There's some impact from the LSU defense led by Jack Pyburn.
Boy, this is going to be a full slide by the offensive line. Everybody moving in this direction, which means you got one-on-one on the backside. A tight end, Noah Myers on Pyburn right there. That is a mismatch every time. Defensive end on a tight end as an offensive coordinator, you hate that. And that time Pyburn and
I think Ahmad Bro.
Yeah, Bro was the other one there, able to bring Tisdale down.
So the Hilltoppers have to punt it away again. That one takes Big Red check and ends up at the 31 after a 36-yard punt. LSU back on offense when we return.
Well, a couple wrinkles here that Alex Atkins is adding to this offense. More under center for their young quarterback and more three-point stances across the board, trying to bring some physicality and better hat level into this run game. You see the double teams and the hat level much better. The push is better. You saw that last week against Arkansas. And then again, the under center is helping Michael Van Buren with his eyes. Sometimes as a quarterback, you get focused too much on the defensive line, but when you turn your back, you don't pay attention to him, at least for a half a second or so. You get your eyes back around the right spot, helps calm young quarterbacks down. I think there's another side of that argument we can get to as well. But Alex Atkins trying to add some things into this offense to get the run game going and get his young quarterback a little more comfortable.
And here's another wrinkle for that young quarterback. DJ Chester is now in at center. Braylon Moore left the field during that last defensive stand for LSU. So Chester, veteran, he's a junior. Or pardon me, he's a sophomore from Conyers, Georgia, and they go with a toss play to the near side and a couple of hits to undercut Harlem Berry. 3 yards on first down.
Yeah, the under center stuff really stood out when you watch the film. They did it 15 times against Arkansas. They haven't had a game all year where they've had it more than 8 times. So in certain ways it can help the run game time up, and then like I mentioned, it gets your young quarterback not looking at the defensive line as much. It sets the pocket much deeper, so we'll keep an eye on if they plan to use it here tonight against Western Kentucky. Haven't seen it yet, except for that screen pass that got broken up early.
Looked like Robbie Harrison.
Offside. Defense number 13 in the neutral zone with contact. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So Harrison off the field after that penalty, and this will make things a little bit simpler for LSU. It's really struggled in the run game, as you saw a moment ago. Now 2nd and 2. Caden Durham is now in a tailback. High snap. Here's Durham trying to find a hole, and he got sandwiched. just shy of the line to gain. Nope, they're going to say good enough. Anthony Brackenridge, the senior, combined with Jaden Hardy to deliver the hit.
Yeah, Brackenridge laid a hit on Caden Durham, like you mentioned. He's really the lifeblood of this defense, the energy, and Caden Durham, another young running back, along with Harlem Berry, that have had their ups and downs this season, but really starting to develop and get on the right track with this run game and some of the changes. And you see the three-point stances all the way across the board for this offensive line. Hands in the ground there.
Van Buren hands it off. And crawling forward for a couple. Cole, physicality just didn't exist for this team with that running game, at least for the first half of the season. 2nd and 7 now. LSU 132nd in the country, less than 30 yards rushing a game. We were here earlier this season when the coaching staff mentioned to us that they just brought the sleds back out and the cages for O-line to really get the work in. Here's Barry on Brown. The wide receiver is shy of the 50. And that raised a lot of eyebrows. They weren't physical. This is a very proud and always hard coached and physical program.
Yeah, that was kind of eye-opening for me, and I know Cole as well. Like, you're not hitting sleds, you're not the shoots, we're working on how low you're coming out of your stance to work on drive and push up front. And I know Blake Baker was a big advocate of getting inside run, 9 on 7, like Cole mentioned, back in practices to replicate the physicality you see in the game. It's benefited really both sides of the football since they started doing that last few weeks.
Interim head coach Frank Wilson is also the running backs coach. And a hit in the backfield, and they'll be short again. It's Jalen Wester. This guy is overly excited day in and day out. Delivered a big hit.
Yeah, you're going to see right here 2 guys split both A-gaps. DJ Chester again working at center, and then the linebacker Jalen Wester comes right through to stop that run short of the first down marker.
And a smattering of boos as Grant Chadwick comes out to punt it away instead of leaving the offense on the field to go for it on 4th and 3 at midfield. It's a coaching staff that played with nothing to lose in the second half against Arkansas, but making some odd decisions here tonight. 52-yard punt results in a touchback. And here in Redston, Big Red with the lead.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet.
The oldest of the week's brothers, West, honored pregame on this senior day, and with his brothers there, and now they're on the field at the same time together for the first time in program history. 3 brothers on the field at the same time. West, Whit, and Zach. They played together growing up, and a beautiful one-handed catch up the sideline by Marvis Parrish. That's got to be a pretty cool moment for the entire Weeks family.
I mean, I don't care your wildest dreams growing up as kids. You could never imagine getting on the field in Tiger Stadium, all 3 of you at the same time. Pretty remarkable.
Whit and West played together a lot at a Coney County High School. One was a quarterback, one was a running back. And Whit, when we sat down with him early this season, just had such an incredible enthusiasm for the game of football. He said, listen, Saturday football's in the South, that's like a Super Bowl to me. Each and every time out, now they're bringing along kid brother Zach, who's a freshman. A lot of the communication with the brothers, they said, is innate because they've spent so much time on the field together. Flag on the play and nearly picked by DJ Pickett. It was Musa Berry on the intended receiver.
Well, Pickett's a talented young corner.
Offside. Defense number 97. In the neutral zone at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. Results in the first down.
As Dylan Carpenter had a sack last week in the win against Arkansas.
Yeah, remember, no Mansour Delane, so DJ Pickett, true freshman, getting down there. He's down there, and the that's not Whit Weeks, wrong button there. That was what I was talking about, and there's your false start up there. Pretty cool though. I can put the names on there if I want to.
That's really neat. Can you put Cole's name on there?
I can try.
This will be the 16th play of the game for Western Kentucky. LSU's only run 8. And a negative play as Marvis Parrish gets swallowed up by Bernard Gooden. First tackle for loss for LSU. Patrick Payton was also in there.
Seeing those Weeks brothers in there together, Tom, I had a chance to speak to Mom and Dad senior night, so of course they're here out on the field before the game, and Mr. Weeks just basically told me, can't believe we're here. Can't believe this is it. This is our last home game.
His dad played college ball at Georgia with Kirby Smart, Matt Stinchcomb, and some of our other buddies. Noah Myers with the catch. So they grew up going to Georgia games, and you can imagine the roughhousing that occurred in the Weeks family. How many lamps did they break as kids?
All of them.
Mom's like, forget about lamps.
You stop buying them after a while.
And the team is converted to third down tonight. Tisdale rolls right. They nearly got a hand on him, and he floats it incomplete. So fourth down. They've gone for it a lot on fourth down against power opponents, 42% on the season, but this fourth and nearly 3, just a hair too long, so they will punt it away. This is a coaching staff that's not afraid to roll the dice. Remember, a few years ago they went into Fayetteville, got a win. That was in 2019.
Tyson Helton said, you know, one of his favorite movies, if you ain't first, you're last. Ricky Bobby said that, so he kind of said you don't want to change who you are in these type of games just because you may be outmatched and they have more talent. So we've seen the tempo. I'm sure we'll see the aggressiveness when a fourth down presents itself.
Xavier Thomas rolling the dice, picking it up after a bounce. 41-yard punt. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Michael Van Buren Jr. started this game just 1 for 3 for 4 yards. Tigers have run 8 plays and totaled 18 yards. What do they need to do to get it going?
Well, we spoke to Alex Atkins about early in the game. What do you want to do for your young quarterback as he's trying to get the play again in this huddle? He said, I want to manage his throws. Last week, give him an intermediate seam route early in the game. He missed it way behind. Want to settle him in a little bit more. They tried to screen earlier. It got broken up. I'd expect an easy throw here on first or second down to try to get your quarterback back in rhythm.
So out of the pistol, they try to run it with Harlem Berry. Talented freshman breaks the first tackle and then got stuck. It was Jalen Lewis who came up from his safety spot. Talk about stopping your momentum. Whoop.
And that pistol formation, one of those things that Cole was talking about, balancing a defense. Anytime you have tendencies in the shotgun, when the running back's on one side or the other, the defense can adjust, shade, bump over based on your tendencies, as you see right here. So great way to break that is getting the pistol.
Van Buren throws on the run, and he fits it in to Trades Green. The ball came loose. It was incomplete. And that'll bring up third and a couple. I want to go back a couple plays ago. First play of this drive. Michael Van Buren was waiting for the call to come in. He is basically a first-time starter for this LSU program. Alex Atkins, a first-time play caller. Should you expect the communication to be a little bit rusty versus when Joe Sloan was doing it for 2 years?
Well, yeah, right. And you're in a huddle, so someone might have been talking to him as Atkins is trying to call the play. So he's managing, you know, the other 10 guys that are standing there and what coach is saying in his ear.
Here's Berry again, and took a hit right at the marker and is able to pick up the first down. Kent Robinson escorted him out of bounds.
Tom, I would go to something that we were actually talking to the defensive coordinator for LSU, Blake Baker, before the game, and that is just having some call it and run it's. Don't get to the line and try to get to the right, to the left. Don't try to change the formation as much. Maybe don't try to get into the exact perfect protection or run play. Just get up there and run some plays. Get into that comfort zone and letting that communication flow.
That was Alex Atkins with the beard in the middle of that shot up in the press box calling the offense. Caden Durham now finding some room on the outside. It was also interesting talking with Blake before the game, and he talked about establishing your offense within this league. And he said Joe Sloan was the best man at my wedding. We talked honestly about how tough it is to coordinate on either side of the ball. He said there's sometimes you just have to call inside zone. But there were times with Nussmeier quarterback and the way play calling was going here, where if the box was loaded, you automatically went to an RPO, you automatically went to the air. Sometimes you got to go against the numbers to establish the physicality. And they felt like that wasn't happening with this program. Now 2nd and 5 on a 4-man rush, complete to the perimeter, and Xavier Thomas. He's really come along the last couple of games.
Yeah, he said, look, we had to decide to run the football. We had to make a conscious decision to be a physical team in practice and in the games. As you see Xavier Thomas here, motioning from one side to the other. That's a mismatch wherever zero is on the field. He is a true burner. He's hit 21.9 miles per hour, which would be the 3rd fastest for any wide receiver in the SEC this year.
Funny, that's how fast Cole drives on the interstate.
You know that's not true. Cole's got a lead foot.
6th play of this drive. Tigers went 3 and out the first drive, punted at midfield on their second, and now past midfield on the completion to Thomas. Coming off of an 80-yard performance against Arkansas, his best yardage game in 2 seasons.
This is such a good job by Michael Van Buren. He's going to get a blitz off this left side. Durham's going to do a great job of picking it up, but he's going to have to climb the pocket and escape. He's trying to hit a double move to the left there. The Xavier Thomas does a great job of escaping and still finding that first read in his progression. Starting to get in rhythm now.
The last play of the quarter, Caden Durham gets turned back inside, and he takes it in to the 30. I drive a lot. Cole drives a lot. I don't think in 8 years you've ever driven us.
Really?
Not a single time. Happy to be your chauffeur. To the 2nd quarter we go. Western Kentucky up 3-0. Good start for Western Kentucky. Rodney Tisdale Jr. 7 of 10 through the air. Cole, what do you got?
Coach Heldon having some success here on offense in the first half. What has happened that you can continue to build on moving forward?
Well, we wanted to come in and settle in early and make sure that, we gave ourselves a chance early. Felt like we did that. We got to convert on 3rd down on offense. So biggest thing is, they're getting a drive right now. We got to keep them out of the end zone.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Like Cole, that was moments ago. Thank you. Van Buren going deep. Plenty of air underneath it, but double covered. And there's a flag. Barion Brown had 2 guys draped all over him. Dylan Flowers and a Varian Cole, the defenders.
Pass interference. Offense number 6. 15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And that's why Varian Cole was so excited.
So this is going to be the read progression. Oh, you're going to see the pass interference there.
2-point takedown by Barion Brown.
So we're going to get a post and an over route from Tradez Green. This is who Michael Van Buren is reading. If that guy goes with the post, you have the over route. Look at Tradez Green come wide open. I think he gets a little panic because he feels pressure. Let that one go early.
That same inside twist, too, working, Jordan, to get a hit on the quarterback.
So 2nd and 19. Devon Brown is the defensive coordinator for the Toppers. And they'll play action. Intercepted. Great hands and a pickoff for Western Kentucky by Harper Holloman. The Atlanta native's got his first takeaway of the season, and the Hilltoppers will have the ball passed right at midfield.
Well, look at Holloman. He is a defensive end, so Van Buren's not even going to think about him in the read progression, so he loses him. Too bad he drops out of this, so Van Buren turns his back to the defense, turns around, not even accounting for him pre-snap, so he's surprised by him post-snap, and Holloman comes down with it. He was one of my impact players, Tom, so
well,
nailed that one.
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
That's just one of those times we talked about the good and bad of having a young quarterback turn his back to the defense. The good is, yeah, it kind of gets him in rhythm. It stops him from looking at the defensive line. The bad is when you get your head around, you better get your guys in the right spot. That time, didn't suspect Holloman dropping from his defensive end spot.
Tisdale fires downfield and right off the hands of Katie Hutchinson. That may have been 6 WKU.
Wow, a little double move from Hutchinson. He was wide open. That's a really good ball from Tisdale. It's going to be a wheel route. Working on the outside. The ball is right on the money. Started running before he had it. Deshaun Spears there trailing in coverage. Big missed opportunity.
This might be 4-down territory for Western Kentucky if they can get a few more yards. Tisdale, the sidearm shot. And here's Katie Hutchinson. We're talking, and this was alluded to a moment ago by you, Jordan, and Tyson Helton saying we're gonna do everything we can. They had that win 2019 at Arkansas, and they converted 5 fourth downs. So they won't be afraid to go for it if they can just pick up, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3 on this one.
Yeah, and we'll see by the play call here if they're just trying to pick up a few and get themselves in position, or if they're trying to pick up all of it.
And they'll pick up all of it on the crossing route by Matthew Henry. He's one of Tisdale's favorite receivers. In the last 2 games, he's been over the century mark. And they're going no huddle here. And Tisdale with a straight drop, pump and go again, but that was covered. There's a flag down in the secondary on the near side and incomplete to the far side. This might be another PI on LSU. Harold Perkins was chasing Tisdale out of the pocket.
Yeah, holding, defense number 46, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Tylen Singleton, linebacker.
And you mentioned Harold Perkins. We talked to Blake Baker. Do you see the penalty here? Yeah, they engage there. He's thinking a quick throw, so he's trying to engage and strip through. But Blake Baker mentioned, I want to use Harold Perkins around the line of scrimmage, off the edge. I want him to affect this game, but I need to see first how quickly they're getting the ball out. Ball is coming out extremely quickly from Tisdale right here, so probably not able to use Harold Perkins the way he wanted to coming into this game so far.
And too quick that time, trying to find Hart. I feel like the way Blake Baker is coaching this game defensively, it's almost like facing a service academy, like the triple option. The speed with which Western Kentucky's getting on the ball and running this, what'd you call it, a pro raid?
Pro raid.
Version of the air raid. Here comes pressure on 2nd and 10, and knocked away in the secondary by Deshaun Spears.
So again, here is Harold Perkins. Blake Baker's going to bring him off the edge. Watch how deep he's coming from, though. The ball is coming out so quick, he's never got an opportunity to affect the quarterback here. So Blake Baker's trying to pick his moments, pick his spots. Just guess wrong on that one.
Perkins likely to drop in coverage this time, looking at a 3rd and 10. He's 5 yards off the ball. Tisdale, straight drop, unloads, complete, and Western Kentucky's got a first down on the completion to Cameron Flowers.
Such a good job from Rodney Tisdale. Patience in the pocket. LSU actually brought the blitz there. To your point, I thought 3rd and 10, they're probably going to drop off, like you said, but they brought the pressure. He stared it right down in the face and delivered that strike.
Baker was telling us this week they wanted to run more simulated pressures to see how Western Kentucky would react early in this game. Design QB run, nowhere to go. Ahmad Bro with the stop for LSU.
I'll go back to that 3rd down pickup for you guys. This Western Kentucky offense. I talked to Joe Bernardi, the offensive line coach, before the game. One thing that they do is they take vertical pass sets a lot of the time. We've seen some half rolls with a little bit of sort of slider gap protection, but they take more professional pass sets. They actually sort pressures out one by one and don't just commit to going one way or the other. Helped them out on that blitz.
And now 2nd and 9. And a hole for him to run in. And Tisdale dances inside the 10. Rodney Tisdale Jr. making just his 4th career start for Western Kentucky. Twice he's been named CUSA Freshman of the Week. And he's coming off of a 371-yard passing performance in their win against Middle Tennessee last week. The Toppers scored on their opening possession, and now they're 4th crack at it. Coming off of a pick. Tisdale sidearms it complete to the 6 to Katie Hutchinson. It's going to lead. It is a first down. So 1st and goal at about the 6.
Boy, one of the first things that Tyson Helton looks for in a quarterback is the ability to change arm angle. That is such a good job by Rodney Tisdale. They're around the blitzer. Little sidearm flick.
Said he grew up watching Guys off platform like Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton.
Yep.
And you said you must have been watching YouTube.
Yeah, I was like, when were you born? Surely you're watching Cam in the NFL in his later years. He said, yeah, I think he was born in 03 or 06. 06.
Tisdale goes to the slant, and it goes right through the hands of Musa Berry that time.
That'll make you feel old when you're talking to a starting quarterback in college. He's like, yeah, I was born in 2006. What?
Jordan, I go back to what you talked about, that poise, that command. He's looking at the line of scrimmage right now, getting his guys ready. That offensive line wasn't set on the previous play. He's clapping, barking at him to get going. For a freshman, it's just super impressive to see.
And they're going to go direct snap. Parrish is the running back, and he'll throw, and he goes to Tisdale, and he dropped it. It was right there in front of him. And now twice they've gone Wildcat, and they've tried to get tricky out of it, and neither time it's worked.
What a play design. Jack Pyburn is going to be off the edge. He's the one that's responsible for peeling with Rodney Tisdale and just doesn't look it in.
Yeah, he took his eyes off it last second. 3rd and goal. And what a difference a touchdown would make here for Tyson Helton's team instead of having to settle for a
Western
field
Kentucky,
goal.
the first of the half.
Scored on their opening drive and now trying to punch it in. 3rd and goal when we return to Baton Rouge. Take you back to a Western Kentucky win against the SEC. Ty Storey had lost his job as Arkansas's quarterback the year before, transferred to Western, and he went 22 of 32 for 213 and 2 more on the ground. Touchdown drives of 42, 75, 59, 73, and 68 yards. Western led 35-7 at the half. Chad Morris lost his job as a result of that after a 2-8 record, 0-6 in the league. Third and goal for the Hilltoppers. A little misdirection, and on the run to the perimeter. That is bottled up for a moment, and it's thrown back to the near side. Will be well short. Cameron Flowers and Rodney Tisdale just making up plays in the backyard.
Wow.
What are we doing?
He caught that one.
So 4th and goal, they're going to leave the offense on the field.
He never ends up going past the line of scrimmage, so he can throw this one forward.
And nobody got downfield.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman. All right, let's see what they draw. Quick huddle, and they go a little bit bigger. 2 tight ends. Tisdale at quarterback. Hart next to him in the backfield. 4th and goal for Western Kentucky. Tisdale was wanting to throw, but a timeout taken right before the snap.
Timeout. Western Kentucky, their 2nd of the half. 30-second timeout.
And you thought all the drama in Baton Rouge this week was centered around a coaching search. Now they're trying to avoid falling behind against Western Kentucky. Obviously, the Hilltoppers are playing with plenty of confidence coming in this one. By the way, for them, it would be nice, but a win really doesn't matter.
Doesn't change anything for them, yeah.
They're playing next week for a chance to play for the CUSA title.
But they're showing why they are earning the right to play in a conference championship game. And LSU right now just seemingly caught off guard by the tempo and some of the, obviously, trick plays that we've seen. Blake Baker's got to settle his defense in. A lot of new faces that are kind of moving around on offense. But that defense doesn't have an excuse for the way they haven't adjusted to the tempo so far.
Rodney Tisdale Jr. just seems to be operating with low blood pressure.
He is dealing. And again, we mentioned the 4th down aggressiveness. We mentioned the Arkansas upset. Hasn't always worked for them. They got blown out by Bama, blown out by Ohio State, being aggressive in situations like this. But see if it pays out for them here early in this game.
They're going to go for it out of the timeout. 4th and goal. Tisdale to throw. Pressured. Fires. And incomplete. And a turnover on downs. The nearest receiver was Matthew Henry.
Boy, coverage was exceptional. There was nowhere to go with the football for Tisdale. His first option was K.D. Hutchinson. He was blanketed, works back over the middle of the field, and nobody there. That is a great stand by this LSU defense.
Tyson Helton rolling the dice, and Tisdale misfires an empty possession for Western Kentucky. If the near upset isn't enough, all eyes on this LSU program for this coaching search for the latest. Here's Pete Thamel.
Tom, the latest in the search for Lane Kiffin's future is that LSU has positioned itself to be the prime suitor, along with the decision for Kiffin to potentially stay at Ole Miss. LSU's search target has been Kiffin this entire time. They really haven't spread their wings very much. Whereas Florida, which is also in pursuit of Kiffin, has spoken to multiple other candidates. Look for some resolution a week from today when we've been told Kiffin will make a decision.
All right, Pete, thanks. That announcement from Keith Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss, and they'll have an announcement after the Egg Bowl, which will be played Friday morning, first game of the day. That'll be on ABC. So that is a massive domino set to fall. Even if it doesn't fall, if he stays at Oxford, that will have far-reaching effect throughout this league and therefore all of college football.
Yeah, a lot of coaches at big programs outside of Lane Kiffin are in conversations for all these job openings. So where Lane Kiffin goes, as you mentioned, is going to kind of dictate what happens with the rest of the coaching searches. But it's an unprecedented offseason or December that we're about to enter.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's not the offseason, right?
Right?
I mean, it will be for LSU, but it won't be for Ole Miss,
who's in the middle of a playoff run. Wild.
Michael Van Buren, slow start to this one, 3 for 7. He has said he wants to stay here at LSU. A lot of that will depend on the next coaching staff as Harlem Berry takes it straight ahead. So it's what the calendar is what's got everything discombobulated. The CFP starts on Friday, December 19th. The portal is open January 2nd to 16th, and then the semifinals in the middle of that. The championship after the portal closes, and oh, by the way, there will be a semester starting, second semester for these schools as well.
Yeah, it's so important for these schools to have a coach in place to get recruiting going. The transfer portal is obviously a massive tool for these new coaches to get teams turned around quicker than ever.
And this isn't the only job open in this league. Also Florida and Auburn. And everybody seems to be waiting on Lane Kiffin to make a decision.
Yeah, for good reason. Lane has earned the right to kind of take his time and search through, think about every single option with what he's done at Ole Miss.
Horry Williams, the starting right tackle, the last 2 games is injured and helped off the field. Lane's family, well publicized, took their own recruiting trips this week to both Baton Rouge and Gainesville. A chance to sniff around and be hosted by folks here in town.
It's wild. What are we doing? It is, I mean, but important, right? I mean, these are human beings making decisions that don't just affect them. So you understand that there's other people involved in moving and taking over new programs if that's going to happen. If it's not, at least you got to do your due diligence.
LSU down 2 starting offensive linemen. Trey'Dez Green with the leaping catch. That's a first down. He's been well used lately. To continue the thought, the last time LSU went and hired a head coach, they got a guy whose program was on the precipice of the playoff. That's when they hired Brian Kelly. Notre Dame was just on the outside looking in, but won upset championship weekend from being a CFP playoff team when there were only 4 teams. 2 previous guys came in, didn't have that same concern when they came over, and each of the 3 previous head coaches all won a national championship. And Buren complete. And that's a first down catch and run for Hill. So Cole, there's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to what LSU wants to do or is able to do with its next coach.
I don't think there's any doubt about that when you just think about what this place is. What you have to consider, the national championships that have been won by former coaches, numerous success that we've seen from coaches coming in without a lot of time. The proximity to talent, the support from the fan base, one of the most amazing home field environments in the country. There's just so much here to be able to build upon. It's going to give you opportunity to win.
Dave Harrod is the injured Hilltopper. Well, Cole referenced it. There's been a ton of success for coaches here in this program. It's why it matters so much. It started with the GOAT. Saban came here, wasted no time, won it all in 03, won the SEC twice. And the Mad Hatter came in. They won the national championship in 2007. Then it was homegrown Ed Ogeron, and Coach O had one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen in college football in 2019. Brian Kelly appeared, took him to Atlanta in 22. Couldn't replicate that same success. And I know it wasn't just one half of football, but that second half against Texas A&M, just a lifeless effort throughout, is what cost.
Yeah, and that's the standard here, is that you coach at LSU, you put on these colors, you win a national championship, and you sustain success, not just have flashes. Because we saw Brian Kelly take a team to the SEC championship, develop a Heisman-winning quarterback, but you have to be able to sustain success with the resources and the opportunity that LSU provides.
Van Buren on the roll, a little pump fake to buy some time and yardage, and took a hit at the stick. Jalen Wester shoves him out of bounds after Van Buren ran for the first down. Actually going to have him just a yard short of the marker. So Frank Wilson took over, and he said, you know, they came here, our players came here with the expectation that BK would be here. So we need a holistic approach to give stability and understanding to these players. He said, we're fractured but not broken, bruised but we'll be all right. And that might apply to the first quarter and a half tonight. Xavier Thomas flipped around by Jalen Lewis. And he asked the question when we talked to him this week, we got to learn, how do we handle adversity? We went right to work. We should have had an off day and kept the guys at home on that Sunday, but we put them to work immediately. We met Sunday. We went through our corrections on Monday. We thought it would be therapeutic to take away that idle time and work through it on the practice field. And a nice win against Arkansas last time out. Here's Caden Durham. And Durham passed the 45.
Well, Cole, you mentioned it. We've talked about it. This Western Kentucky defense is throwing a lot of looks at LSU. That time they stemmed their front. What does that mean? Right before the snap, all four defensive linemen moved one or two gaps over. So it changes the blocking scheme right before the play. That's why that running play that you'd hope would get 4 or 5 and set up a better third down situation went nowhere. Really like the design so far from Devon Brown for Western Kentucky, the defensive coordinator.
Starting center Braylon Moore is out for the rest of the game with a foot injury, Cole tells us. And they're on their second string right tackle. Weston Davis has been rotated in to take Ori Williams' spot, and movement up front. DJ Chester, who has taken over for Moore at the center spot.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Boy, and again, another really unique look we see from the Hilltoppers, bringing kind of an unbalanced blitz look pre-snap. Van Buren was trying to get to the line of scrimmage and change protection, but look at these two guys right here, and you got guys that were at least showing that they were going to come off the edge there. So a unique look. Van Buren was trying to slide the protection or change it, and
we don't have a name for that front.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Two guys in one gap.
Here's the perimeter toss to Xavier Thomas, who turns it upfield. Jalen Lewis in on the stop. Devon Brown is the defensive coordinator for Western Kentucky. He played for Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic, and then was hired by Jeff Levy to be the running backs GA when Levy was Lane's OC at Ole Miss. He said, I got moved over to the offensive side. I learned so much about football from Levy. Now he's trying to stop LSU on this 4th and 4. They're 6 of 8 on 4th downs this year. Van Buren lets it go. It is low and incomplete. Trying to find Xavier Thomas. And now both teams have a turnover on downs, and what has been a sluggish, low-scoring first half. Western Kentucky has rolled the dice but come up snake eyes, and LSU just keeps throwing the dice right off the table. 3-0 Hilltoppers. Time for a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
How long do you think that takes to paint your face like that?
think the wife probably does it.
Oh, it's almost holiday. Santa changing colors for the home team. Couldn't have him wearing red on a night like tonight, you know.
Here's Marvis Parrish. No, that wouldn't be bad. Cole?
How did he get that handoff off? Sorry, on that play. That took me off guard. He went the wrong direction and then like completely sixed out the other way and was still able to get that handoff off. Just a little weird execution there, but not panicking, not losing his cool. Went the wrong way first, comes back, figures out a way to get the counter handed off. Nice job.
Yeah, it might have been the true freshman Parrish that went to the wrong side there.
Tisdale going deep, too much air on this one. Rodney Tisdale Jr. wasn't the starting quarterback the first half of the season. They had Maverick McIver, who transferred in from Abilene Christian, where he ran Rich Bowie's offense with Abilene Christian. And McIver letting loose on the sideline, 3-time USA Player of the Week, got injured against Florida International. Tisdale stepped in, and in CUSA they play a lot of midweek games. Stepped in on a Tuesday night and took over. 3rd and 6, 4-man rush. Tisdale avoids it and dumps it off to LaBelle Wright, and he picks up the first down.
Boy, just the lack of panic for the young quarterback, really just making his 4th career start. He's got 2 linebackers blitzing up the A-gaps. He sidesteps, checks the ball down on a 3rd down for a first down. Football's not that hard when you don't panic, you know?
It's not.
Someone's always open. You just got to find them.
At a First Coast High School in Jacksonville, Florida, here's Wright.
I had that exact conversation with Tyson Helton before the game, asking how they wanted to set things up. He wanted to see early from this specifically, and he just basically said what Jordan just said. We got to throw, we got to catch, we got to pick up blitzes, we have to have an understanding of where the ball needs to go. It's like my old quarterback Ben Leard used to say in the huddle, football ain't hard.
Sure, Ben did say ain't.
Oh, he's from Hartwell, Georgia, so yeah, he actually did.
There's a flag on the play. This is a momentous drive for Western Kentucky here late in the 2nd quarter. We're going to go backwards here and be left with 2nd and long. Steve Marlowe is our referee, and asking Frank Wilson if he wants to accept it. Leaving with 3rd and 8 or 2nd and
Illegal motion. Offense
13.
number 4. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So that's what they'll do. They'll leave him with 3rd and 8. Try to get the ball back here. 4:13 to go. Western Kentucky is 4 for 8 on 3rd downs tonight.
KD Hutchinson has kind of been their go-to guy over the middle of the field on these 3rd downs.
And LSU jump. Bernard Gooden came across. They'll get the 5 back. Well, never accepted it, pardon me, but
Before the snap, offside, defense number 88. In the neutral zone with contact. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
so this also, I know it's only 5 yards, but it gives you a better look at the field position now. Now at the 40, now they might decide to go for it on 4th down.
Oh, absolutely.
With the time left in the first half.
This is 2-down territory. The way they've controlled this game so far, you're on the road against a Power 4 opponent. They're rolling the dice every opportunity they can do it tonight.
Noah Myers, the big tight end, in motion. They're setting up a screen with Myers blocking, and the wide receiver read the block wrong. Matthew Henry ran right into it. Well, regardless, 4th and short as they're able to get a couple.
Yeah, this one just come inside of this block. You got your tight end kicking out a corner back there. Probably would have picked up the first down, but here 4th and a foot.
They're going I formation. Parrish and Wright behind Tisdale under center. 4th and a short 1. Tisdale rolls out, dumps it off, and a hit right at the marker. Looks like they stopped him short as Parrish got cut down. Tylen Singleton stops him, and it's another turnover on downs. What a play by the LSU linebacker.
Boy, great job by Jakeem Jackson. Watch the vision. He's sitting over here in flat responsibility, and he's just going to be reading anything that comes to him. He's going to sit, squat on it, know if this guy runs by, he's got safety help over the top.
15 seconds,
and he was all over that.
Thank you.
Just a great job knowing that receiver he was initially on is going to be covered if he goes deep by the safety. All he's got to do is wait for somebody to come to his flat, make a strong tackle. And the redshirt sophomore, former Florida Gator, with a great stop there on 4th down.
So another turnover on downs, the last 2 possessions for Western Kentucky. And a dump off, and that one's incomplete to Jawan Johnson, who's just entered the game. Johnson, do everything. High school superstar, has played on both sides of the ball here at LSU. And spearheaded their 4th quarter run last week, and now he exits the field.
Yeah, I think the biggest mismatch on the field for LSU is Trades Green, the big 6'7" tight end. They got to find a way to get him involved. Had the 1 catch down the sideline in tight coverage, but it's going to start there at the top of your screen. Going to use him in motion.
They bring pressure from the edge. There's Green, and he got blasted right at the 40. It's Jai Eugene Jr.
Oh, had the right idea. It's just a tough one to throw a flat route. Doesn't really use his size and his combination of size and speed there out on a corner. Love to see him attack the middle of the field. Now a 3rd and long. See if Kentucky brings blitz. They do.
Van Buren rolls, fires wide open at the sideline, and up the sideline goes Kyle Parker. That's a gain of 23, and LSU in prime position to find the end zone for the first time tonight.
And one of the ways Alex Atkins has kind of settled his quarterback down at times is getting him out on the edge. Move the launch point, as we call it, change the protection for the offensive line, let his athleticism take over. Great route, great throw there to Kyle Parker.
Durham is his back. Van Buren overthrows Barion Brown. And that leaves 2nd and 10. Remember, Western Kentucky turned it over on downs each of its last 2 possessions, 1 at the goal line. Instead of adding to the lead. And that left the door open for LSU. Down 2 offensive linemen, backup center, backup right tackle. And they get it out of the backfield to Xavier Thomas. No gain. Jalen Lewis a stop.
This has been the game plan for LSU, right? Try to get perimeter throws. It's not working. They got to adjust this offense, try to attack a little bit more vertically, and try to get some points on the board here. It's been all Western Kentucky all first half. Frustration for this LSU team at home.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Now 3rd and 9. Hilltoppers in the house, and it's complete for a 1st down over the middle. Trades Green. Boy, he's just short. So 4th and 1. And it looks like they're going to tend to Caden Durham, who was injured on the previous play. The only time in the last 20 years LSU's been shut out in a half against a group of 5 opponent came in the first half against Troy in 2017. That's also the last game in the last 70 that LSU has lost at home to a non-conference opponent.
Timeout. LSU. The first of the half. 30-second timeout. This timeout is for an injured player after the ball had been set.
Well, Caden Durham gets a little banged up here. He's actually picking up Anthony Brackenridge in protection. You're going to see Brackenridge blitz right here, number 3. Thuds him. Really good job. Head down a little bit, maybe. Just right after that, kind of walked to the sideline and then went down.
And remember, the key to that call, having to use a timeout, is that he went down after the ball was set.
Right.
That's a new emphasis on the rule, and I don't think there's any question that he's truly injured. But this was the new rule that was put in place to keep teams from stalling and trying to stop the clock by feigning injuries. And LSU with timeouts available, and they're not letting Caden Durham get up. And now they'll help him to his feet.
Yeah, good to see. It was a really good job picking up the blitz, and actually probably one of the few times tonight that Michael Van Buren didn't really panic under pressure, right? We've seen Western Kentucky bring a lot of unique blitzes, a lot of unique pre and post snap looks. Did a great job of knowing where the blitz was, replacing the linebacker that was coming over the middle of the field to Trades Green, and now a 4th and short. Try to pick this up and get some points on the board before half.
It's about 1.5 yards. Harlem Berry, the freshman running back, in the game. There's Green in motion. Van Buren keeps it, rolls out, bad spacing, and now he pushes it to Green, who's just past the line to pick up the first down.
Well, that's a great job by Michael Van Buren. I think this is originally designed to be a run or a late throw. A run or a late throw here. You see Jalen Wester, number 21, just flushes him wide to the sideline. He's able to get his foot in the ground and get upfield, and just a late little flick to Trades Green.
This time last year, Trades Green was sharing time on a football field in the hardwood. Also playing basketball here at LSU. Sideline shot. Everybody was out of bounds, and that will bring a flag. Green was matched up with Harper Holloman. And Holloman shoved him right out of bounds.
Pass interference, defense number 44. The ball would be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I mean, that's the matchup you want. You got a defensive end that's peeling and running with your 6'7" tight end, and Holloman knows he's outmatched, never gets vision on the ball. He's trying to use the sideline there, trying to sell it. But again, that's the mismatch LSU wants to try to take advantage of, especially down here in the red zone. Defense coordinator Devon Brown mentioned, he says, we don't really have a guy that can match up with him. We're just going to have to try to win in the opportunities that we have.
Van Buren fires. It is caught at the goal line and in. It's Trades Green. Twists his way into the end zone, and LSU has its first lead of the night. It took him this long to find the end zone.
Boy, and this time a slant route on a safety. A great catch. You see him bobble it the first time. And, well, did he have possession there as that ball came down? Looks like he crossed the goal line. I think he did maintain possession after the initial bobble. It's a great job by Trades Green.
4th touchdown pass of the season for Michael Van Buren. Playing in place of the injured Garrett Nussmeier. Came out for senior night festivities tonight, but is not dressed out. There's number 18. Who for over 4,000 yards last year. Couldn't find the same rhythm and success this season for LSU. There's hope that he'd be available next week in the finale of the regular season against Oklahoma. So they took an extra long look at it, liked what they saw. Well, maybe.
And again, there was a bobble. It did look like he came down with firm control before he hit the ground, and he did. Okay, now they'll let him kick it.
Well, here's Damian Ramos for the point after. And the first time in 5 possessions, LSU is able to put points on the board.
It's a great read by Michael Van Buren. This is actually an RPO, so it's supposed to be a handoff, but if this defender adds, then you got a one-on-one matchup with your big tight end. He adds one-on-one, you replace him with the slant throw, and Trey'Dez Green does a great job using his body there, and the ball a little on his back hip. He was able to bring it down.
You know, Jordan, that's a great call by Alex Atkins. That alley defender, that hybrid sort of star nickel position for the Western Kentucky defense has been a real problem for the LSU offense tonight. Coming up, making some plays at the line of scrimmage, pressure off the edge.
Dropping at times.
Yes, attacking that one when you know it's coming off the edge right there, reading it, giving them a little better chance to have success.
It's a great point. It was a great call because they've dropped that guy. They've added him. They blitzed him. So why not give Michael Van Buren the opportunity to look at him? If he comes, great, throw it. If he stays back, then you got numbers in the box and you can run it. LSU really started to find their rhythm there by targeting Trey'Dez Green on that entire drive, really.
High kick and a fair catch taken by Cameron Flowers. 1:32 remaining in the first half.
Well, if the aggressiveness early from Western Kentucky was any indication, with LSU set to get the ball after half, I imagine this is going to be an aggressive drive from Western Kentucky, trying to get some points on the board here.
What does that look like?
Well, using tempo, right? So positive gain on first down really helps this pro raid team, air raid system in the passing game get into rhythm. But the quick passing game to the perimeter has really been successful early so far in this first half. I expect some more of that.
Tisdale hit as he throws and incomplete down the near sideline. Patrick Payton brought the pressure.
At that time, LSU said, hey, I'm tired of the quick throws. I'm tired of giving you green grass on the perimeter. So they went man press coverage across the board, and your only option there is to try to attack downfield in one-on-one coverage. And that time the coverage better from DJ Pickett.
And now they run it on second down and nowhere to go for George Hart III. Devon Keys, first man to meet him.
Timeout.
LSU uses a timeout.
The second of the half, 30-second timeout.
You know, Western
Please
Kentucky,
reset the game clock to 1:23.
great game control early in this contest, but just couldn't cash in. Plenty of missed opportunities, including a couple of drives ago.
Yeah, I feel like they ran almost every trick play they had on the script early in this game. Tisdale drops the would have been touchdown, and they got a jet sweep reverse pass and go, hey, see if we can do it again. Catches that one, but ended up being short and went for it on fourth. Better coverage from LSU. Another fourth down where LSU was all over it. 2 big stops on fourth from this LSU defense, and Rick Bowie, the offensive coordinator, he's throwing everything possible at Blake Baker right now, and I bet you there's a few more trick plays up his sleeve. Probably won't see it here on 3rd and 8. But they're not done yet.
Tisdale 5 of 7 on 3rd down tonight. And completes it to the edge to Katie Hutchinson. They say it was out of bounds, incomplete. Pardon me, didn't secure it. So 3 and out for Western Kentucky.
That was a dangerous throw. Harold Perkins was in perfect position in coverage.
But LSU will get it back with plenty of time and good field position.
Yeah, a great job by Frank Wilson of using that timeout early to stop the clock, force the 3rd down, got the incompletion. Now you're going to get the ball back with a timeout in your pocket.
Xavier Thomas averages about 11 yards a return. Pushed inside the 20, will retreat to the 15. Looking for a seam, he's got it. Xavier Thomas gets another block, and he's got it in midfield. And finally, this old building comes alive on a 39-yard punt return by Xavier Thomas.
Well, you just knew at some point the fastest guy on the field was going to make an impact. You're going to get a great block here, just a shield block coming into your screen right there. Number 30, giving Xavier probably 15 more yards on that return to set up great field position at the 45-yard line. And this is where you wonder if Alex Atkins feels the momentum, knows his team's got the speed advantage, and might dial up a shot play here to try to strike while the iron's hot.
He's got Caden Durham back on the field. Remember, he left the field prior to that 4th down play on the last possession. They have turned it up in the second quarter. That last drive, most successful, covered 62
yards. Did not run
yards.
properly during the last play. Police set the game clock to 58 seconds. 5-8.
Less than a minute now.
Thank you.
They have plenty of trick plays in their pocket with Jawan Johnson, the all-time career yardage leader in Louisiana prep history. He was great in the 4th quarter against Arkansas, but he's on the bench right now. 4-man rush. Van Buren over the middle, late and low, trying to find Kyle Parker.
That's just one of those times that you feel that Van Buren's not really seeing it the way he should. Kind of caught off guard. He's reading Destin Hill at the bottom of the screen or to his right, and then it should come to Kyle Parker, and he was just a little bit late.
Another 4-man rush. Van Buren goes deep down the sideline. Too strong. There was some hand fighting, but no flag. Nazir Ward matched up with Barryon Brown.
A lot of contact here right at the end. See that? Oh, all over the jersey of Barryon Brown. Nazir Ward looked at the ref, knew he was guilty. You can see, I mean, Brown's getting almost turned around there at the end of that route.
The beauty of Nazir Ward's play is that the field judge was on the other side of Brown. He couldn't see the fistful of jersey on the near side. Play clock winding down. 3rd down 10. And just get it off. They drop 8. Van Buren over the middle and tipped. Dave Harrod got his hands on it, or at least a hand, and that leaves 4th and 10. Well, this will be interesting. The strongest leg kicker they have is Aaron Burrell, who banged through a 60-yarder in pregame warmups. They're going to punt it away. It would have been a 62-yarder from here. Kind of surprised in zombie coaching staff you don't take a shot at it. Jarius Mack asks for a fair catch. Takes it at the 7. That's a 37-yard punt.
Yeah, why not roll the dice there? You know, 44 seconds left. Now it's 4th and 10, right? It's not high probability, but
you would go for it instead of attempt the long field goal with the big leg kicker?
I would.
Either way, right?
Yeah, either way, don't punt it. I think punt would be my 3rd choice there, especially you're going to get the ball back after half. As you mentioned, Frank Wilson, the interim head coach.
They're bowl eligible once again. And so it's just postseason maneuvering at this point for LSU, and Western Kentucky won't bother taking a shot. Hilltoppers led 3-0. And so LSU finally found the end zone on its penultimate first half possession. And twice the Toppers went for it on 4th down and turned it over. The second time led to the LSU touchdown. The first time came at the goal line. So that'll take us to halftime here at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, and the Western Kentucky faithful have to be happy with what they've seen from their Toppers here in this first half. Meanwhile, LSU trying to figure it out and find some rhythm offensively. It has not been there so far tonight, and it really hasn't been there from a ground game perspective most of the season. Playing with their 2nd string quarterback, interim head coach Frank Wilson is with Cole Kubler.
Coach Wilson, how much of an issue, and if it is, how do you solve the problem of the movement up front defensively, stems, different looks you're getting?
Yeah, it's becoming an issue for us. We're sloppy. We're not able to get on guys in the run game, and we're off in the pass game. So we'll have to make these adjustments, settle down a little bit, and get some things that are fundamentally sound to allow us to collect them, opposed to isolating blocks one-on-one, that we can full zone it and be able to take care of gap integrity and be able to run the ball more effectively.
At the same time, what does that last touchdown do from a momentum standpoint going into half?
I think it was big. Hopefully we're trying to get another 3 out of it, at least minimal, because we'll get the ball back in the third quarter. Unfortunately, we didn't, but we'll get the ball back and we'll make some adjustments and get some points and get going.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Frank Wilson, the 4th interim head coach for LSU in the SEC era, trying to take those interim records to 8-4. LSU with a slim lead. Let's get to the studio. Here's Dari. Watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Western Kentucky putting a scare into LSU tonight. The Hilltoppers 4-20 all time against SEC opponents. Welcome back, Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. They had plenty of opportunities. Did the Hilltoppers run out of magic in the first half, or can they get back to that in the second?
Well, I think they can, right? I mean, they threw everything at this LSU defense. They went tempo early. LSU couldn't adjust. They went for a couple 4th downs. LSU stopped them. That could have changed the game. So LSU found a way to kind of settle down both on defense and on offense, get some momentum going into the second half.
All the drama this week in Baton Rouge, this game tonight, you didn't think we'd be talking WKU at halftime, did you?
No, you didn't. Thought we'd be talking about different drama, but we got a pretty good ball game going on right now.
Toppers knocked off Arkansas on the road in 2019. They did that by being bold and converting 5 4th downs, but 0 for 2 on 4th down. Tonight, time for Read and React, hottest show in college football.
We spoke to Frank Wilson going into the half. We talked about that defensive line stem, some of the movement, the fronts. He said, maybe go to a little bit more of a full zone. Let's watch first. This defensive line going to shift stem over right before this ball going to be snapped. There you see the stem, and then Jordan Drew right there, the blocking of Chester at center. He talked about going to more of a wide zone, a full zone here. So inside zone doesn't get it. You have a little bit of misdirection, forces a run to cut back, doesn't pick it up. So more of a full zone, bring everybody with that, what we should be watching for from LSU here in the second half.
All right, first play of the second half. Garner's 2.5 on a run by Harlem Berry.
I wanted to follow up for you guys, too, what you were just saying, Jordan, talking about Western Kentucky throwing everything. I actually asked Coach Heldon, do you have any tricks left? He said, oh, yeah, we just got to call them. And I asked him, what's the key here? What do you need to see? He said, we go out there and execute, we'll win the damn game.
There we go. Oh, look at this. Gonna run polecat to the far side. Eligible receiver, 2 of them to the near side. Van Buren hands it off to Xavier Thomas, and he takes it across the 35, but there's a flag way back where those offensive linemen had split out to the numbers, and that'll be a false start, maybe against Thomas.
Boy, that was a little Kansas City Chiefs-esque, huh?
I don't know. My junior high ran the same play.
Oh, please.
Yeah, we didn't have Patrick Mahomes.
Illegal formation, offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah, this after the reset here, the offensive linemen got to get back on the line of scrimmage. They're too deep. If you look at where the ball is and where they're at.
Well, that's against the rules. You know, they threw the kitchen sink at Arkansas in the first possession of the third quarter. And we're talking to this coaching staff, and they said, well, it wasn't just that we were throwing caution to the wind. It was stuff that we knew how to run, and it was trying to win the game. Even Blake Baker got into it. They ran a conga line defensive alignment first play of the fourth quarter. So we're in a position then against Arkansas. We need to find some momentum, and trick plays got us to get to that point.
Yeah, it kind of gets you excited, right? I mean, it gets some positivity, some hope, some fun back into the game, which at this point in the season, when your original goals to start the year of being a college football playoff contender are off the board, your coach gets fired, like you need to find some way to inject some fun into the game so you can have a reason to get out there and play better.
What's that line from your favorite movie? Our pets' heads are falling off?
Yeah.
Everything's going wrong.
Got no food, got no jobs, or coaches are fired.
Gas man's after us. Maybe they'll find a Hawaiian Tropic bus before the season is over. 2nd down 11. Trying to set up a screen that is incomplete. Off the hands of Barrion Brown. Drops have been an issue for him since he first arrived in the SEC at Kentucky. An elite return man, just hasn't been able to put it all together as a wide receiver. Four wide. Caden Durham is the running back. 4-man rush. Van Buren pushed out of the pocket. Complete to Xavier Thomas. Kent Robinson had the coverage, and here comes the punt team.
An unfortunate start for LSU. They did show like they were turning the corner there before the second half, targeting Trey'Dez Green, and then you come out, run a little trick play, and it goes wrong, and you're backed up behind the sticks, and you're going to give Western Kentucky in this offense a chance to get their feet back under them.
And the Toppers just one big play from really making some noise in this game, as Jarius Mack takes a fair catch after a 45-yard punt. The Toppers will have the football after this. Well, Western Kentucky is 4-20 all-time against the SEC. They knocked off Arkansas in 2019. They won on the road at Vandy in 15, and then they won back-to-back years against Kentucky. Won in Lexington in 12, and then over in Bowling Green, in Nashville in 13 at a neutral site game at Nissan Stadium. This would be the loudest win, though, to come to LSU to win in this stadium in front of what was announced as a crowd of 100,000 tonight. Little swing pass. Don't give me that look. It was announced as a crowd of 100,000.
Why that?
Marvis Parrish with the reception.
Kind of like when you recite your stats from high school. You always know to like cut them in half.
You inflate just a little bit.
There was always that guy from the distant county that had 3 times more tackles than anybody else.
Yep.
38 tackles last week.
Yeah, because your cousin was counting them.
No gain on that first down play. 4-man rush. Tisdale off his back foot, incomplete. And Noah Myers couldn't haul it in. So as listless as the offense has been tonight, credit to the LSU defense. Once they found their footing, a little out of rhythm early on, they might be the unit that wins this game for them.
Yeah, Blake Baker's done a great job of adjusting to the tempo, adjusting to the plan from Western Kentucky. Really, after the first couple drives, the Hilltoppers haven't had much success at all.
4th and 10 on 3rd down. Tisdale blasted from behind. DJ Pickett came untouched. Second sack of the night for LSU, and the Hilltoppers lucky Tisdale held on to the football.
Boy, this is going to be a cat corner blitz right here, and Tisdale's never going to see it. You see the motion. They're trying to pump to the far side, and he has no vision on the backside corner. We call that cat when it's just one guy coming. Cowboy would be corner and the will linebacker, the weak linebacker, C and a W. There you go, just learned something.
Wow.
You know, cats always hang out by themselves, so if it's just the corner, it's a cat corner.
Here's Xavier Thomas from the 42. Trying to change direction. That idea. So last night at dinner, with a cowboy dinner with Cole and I at Supper Club, knocking down Australian Wagyu.
Oh, how good is that place?
The best.
God, the Brussels, and I would have never ordered the corn on the side, but man, that thing was incredible.
The corn is incredible.
I could just go with 3 platters of those biscuits with whatever honey butter. That's all I need.
You give me butter and some carbs. Is butter a carb? I don't know, but I'll eat it all. That's all I need.
Maybe Chef will take care of us tonight. Remember, LSU down at second string center. DJ Chester is running the show for him, and here's Trey'Dez Green. And nothing doing there. A couple of yards, Jalen Lewis on the stop. You wouldn't have guessed Australia when we mentioned where the Wagyu was from.
No, because I think they got some Japanese Wagyu there. I mean, they're flying it in from everywhere. I'm just mad I didn't get the invite, but you know, maybe next time. We've only worked together for 9 years.
And you still have yet to drive. Nazir Ward is the injured Hilltopper. Athletic training staff trying to stretch out his left leg. It's unseasonably warm down here in Louisiana. One of those days where the shop owners couldn't decide to blast the AC to 60 degrees or leave the front door open.
Timeout. Western Kentucky, their first of the half.
So Ward, seemingly dealing with cramps,
30-second timeout.
make his way back to the Western
This
Kentucky
timeout is due to an
sideline.
injury after the ball had been set.
It's a second timeout forced to be taken after the ball had been set tonight.
Well, that's that new rule you mentioned earlier. I don't think we've had it happen all year. Now we've had it twice in this game.
Yeah.
And with obviously legitimate, it seems.
There's some programs feign injuries more than others, right?
Yes.
It seemingly has done a great job of cracking down on it. Now, they knew that there were going to be times. C6 at the top of your screen, he's calling for help. The ball had already been spotted. They knew when they put this rule in that there were going to be times that they had to stop the clock and force a timeout for guys that were actually injured. But that's just a very small byproduct of speeding up games. I think it's been fantastic. Van Buren in trouble, dumps it off, and a quick hit on Harlan Berry from Jalen Wester.
Boy, a great play design. Xavion Thomas is going to be wide open down the middle of the field. Watch the pocket. It is perfect. Van Buren's just got his eyes in the wrong spot. He should be looking for Xavion Brown crossing from right to left. He should throw that to the left numbers with some air. Could have been a big play. Leaves the pocket with good protection. Just kind of struggling tonight with where his eyes should go.
Oh, eyes are on the red jerseys. They collapse immediately, and Jalen Wester, who lives his life with unmatched enthusiasm, comes in with Jalen Emery. It's a loss of 12.
Boy, both linebackers coming off the edge to this side, and it happens to be right in the direction that Michael Van Buren's trying to sprint. That's a tough one to pick up. That is not the offensive line's fault. That is not Michael Van Buren's fault. It's not a bad play call. It's just a perfect defensive call for what LSU was trying to do.
3 plays, minus 10 yards. Jarius Mack back to receive at the 14. First guy spins him, second time guy cleans him up. 50-yard punt. Western Kentucky hanging in the third quarter at LSU, down 4.
In modern college football, the idea of senior day has taken a bit of a hit, but not for Garrett Nussmeier. Born in Lake Charles, all this coach's kid ever wanted was to play quarterback for LSU. That's why he waited on the bench, why he's been here 5 years, why he fought through injuries, and why everyone in Death Valley should give number 18 the salute he has earned.
Number 18, one of 28 seniors honored pregame tonight. 3 of those seniors have been here for 5 years. Hugging a kiss for mom. Over 7,600 yards passing, 52 touchdowns, both top 4 in school history. Shame he can't go in his last game at Tiger Stadium. Straight ahead run, nothing doing.
And a unicorn in today's college football. A guy that decided to sit and wait his turn behind Jaden Daniels. Wanted to be an LSU Tiger. Wanted to help this team take the next step and get to the college football playoffs. I'll tell you what, he was one of my favorite guys to watch. I'm going to be bummed not getting to see him put on a Tigers uniform again and sling it around this stadium. It didn't go the way that he planned it or this team planned it, but he's got a lot to be proud of for his career.
Tisdale nearly picked. He is off the carom into the hands of DJ Pickett, who is having a monster night tonight. The freshman from Zephyr Hills, Florida, has a sack and a pick to stymie the last 2 WKU drives.
Boy, again, Tisdale's been so good under pressure tonight. He's going to drift to the left because he's got pressure coming from the right side. Jamari Butler turns the corner here, and then late pressure in his face causes the errant decision, the errant throw. Boy, what a play. DJ Pickett has been really good in man coverage. That time got a gift right to him on that play, and exactly what this LSU team needed.
It was West Weeks who started the tip drill. And now Martin Van Buren trying to go back to work. Dumps it off. Harlem Berry.
The president?
Yeah, sorry. Michael Martin. You know, you never know.
Was I right? Is that a president?
Yeah, you're dead on.
Or vice president? I think it was both. Wow. Boy, he's still slinging it around, huh? So, I got to get some of whatever he's got. Looks great for 135.
Martin. A new nickname, the president. And he fakes a handoff. He's going to take it himself. And he takes it inside the 5 where Jalen Lewis takes him down. 16-yard run for the president, Van Buren.
Wow, just a zone read. And actually a ball that he very well could have given it, right? He's going to read this defensive end. If he crashes with the running back, he keeps it. He kind of plays both, but a great job by Martin Van Buren, as Tom calls him, of just trusting his legs, right? Sometimes when the defender's in that gray area, if you believe you can beat him with speed and you got the athleticism to do so, make yourself right, and Van Buren did there.
They go heavy on the left side. And Van Buren again calls his own number. And he gets knocked down just short of the goal line. The ball popped out. They say he was down inside the 1. There was a clear and immediate recovery by Western Kentucky in the end zone. Dominic Oliver ended up with the football.
Boy, Van Buren's going to be tired after this, running sideline to sideline on both these plays back to back. Ball's definitely going to cause the fumble there as he reaches out.
Van Buren cross the Delaware, or is that somebody else?
I think that was Washington.
Oh, okay. 2nd and goal. Van Buren to throw, back of the end zone, a lot of contact, and no flag. I thought they were going to reach for it. It was Harrod in traffic with Tradez Green. Got a bear hug on him.
A really good job in coverage by Harrod. That's a one-man route. They're trying to sell the run and leak Tradez Green out one-on-one to use his big frame. And it was a little early, maybe.
There were 2 red hands inside the white jersey.
Yeah.
So they go for keep the offense here. 3rd and goal now. Try to knock it in. Van Buren lost it and couldn't recover in time to get over the goal line. Wester and Lewis were there. And with the way that played out, it was very nearly a spike.
Yeah.
It was a high snap, and he immediately knocked it to the ground.
Please reset the game clock to 6 minutes, 10 seconds. 6-1-0.
Yeah.
Never had possession catching it.
Thank you.
Boy, they need to get together in the Oval Office on the sideline over there and figure things out. That was a drive that they should have got a touchdown out of. Plenty of opportunities, and just anything and everything bad happened there in the last couple plays.
So Damian Ramos close enough to kick it over the Resolute desk. This is just a chip shot here. 18-yard attempt. A lot of people Googling the Van Buren presidency right now. I know we could use a history lesson. LSU up a touchdown. Thanks, sorry. That game was funny. Like that first half, Texas was like calling plays like they were playing a scrimmage or an FCS team, but it was tight until the third quarter. They finally pulled away.
It's kind of been Texas all year, right? I mean, some weeks they look like they could be world beaters, and some weeks they look like
Martin Van Buren. First drive ended up in a field goal, 57 yards. Since then, only 6. This is a Western Kentucky team with Jacksonville State's loss today will have a chance win, and they're in the CUSA title game next week. Currently a 3-way tie with Jacksonville State and Kennesaw State. Tisdale checks it down and finds his tight end over the middle for a gain of 4. It's Noah Myers at a Trinity in Louisville.
They really haven't seen much of the run game from Western Kentucky. Obviously, we called this air raid system a pro raid because of the air raid passing concepts with the more pro style run game. And there we go. It's
Lavelle Wright was
a little bit.
Yeah, broken tackle from taking it to the house. We were talking with Rich Bowie this week, the offensive coordinator. He was coaching in high school back in DC area, and he was coaching Dana Holgerson's sons. Kick-started a relationship with Holgerson, who was in on the front end of the air raid back in Iowa, and spent 3 years with Holgerson. First he was at Valdosta, then Houston, and was with them at West Virginia. 2nd and 4. And Tisdale flush, off balance into coverage, flags thrown. Maybe another PI. Harold Perkins Jr. was in the backfield chasing Tisdale down.
I think they're going to get P.J. Woodland again with a little jersey tug.
Holding. Defense number 13. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
A.J. Halsey actually on the back end.
Mr. Gimme That. Turned into Mr. Trying to Take That. 8 tackles against Arkansas last year.
You know what I've realized, Tom, is that you got to really be wary of the offensive coordinators with the tiny play call sheets.
That's right.
Like, they're always really good. You know, not a ton of plays, but just the really good ones on there. Mike Leach, obviously very famous for having a tiny little index card.
Oh, little high and picked again off the carom. Second LSU takeaway. This time it's P.J. Woodland. I mentioned this beginning of the third quarter. It's the LSU defense which has given life
on the field is
to the stadium tonight. The offense has been non-existent.
Boy, Patrick Payton coming off the edge caused this throw to go high. Rodney Tisdale is kind of caught between a sidearm throw around Patrick Payton. As we look at the interception from P.J. Woodland, does look like he corralled that one.
Second consecutive drive to end in an LSU takeaway. And previous there was a sack. Here's Barryon Brown, breaks a tackle and gets dragged into a big hit at the 44.
It's the second time this LSU pass rush and defensive front has caused a high errant throw, whether it's pressure or getting in passing lanes. Really impressed with the way Blake Baker has got his side of the ball to adjust. Now LSU in this offense and Michael Van Buren have got to get things going.
Thanks for the reminder. And they got to, even if they don't play ball control, they got to take care of the football and avoid a turnover. Tip, and he catches his own pass. Van Buren breaks a tackle and takes a completion to the 44-yard line, 46, pardon me. Brackenridge knocked it in the air, turned to a 10-yard gain.
What else can happen in this game, huh? You got a bingo card tonight. Everything's hitting. Van Buren, great job of realizing he had time to catch that one. A lot of times they teach you just knock it down, right? Don't make a bad play worse. He didn't feel like he had pressure around him, so snagged that one and used his legs once again.
Third and short. Harlem Berry is in the backfield, and Van Buren's going to get under center. Yep. Got him to jump. That'll be a free 5. Rylan Suafilo. Obviously, the margin of error is slim for Western Kentucky to come on the road and get a win tonight.
Offside. Defense number 93 in the neutral zone with contact. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
But an automatic first down on the 5-yard penalty and a first down on the penalty. The 2 fourth downs that they failed, playing aggressive, one at the goal line. The interceptions, mistakes are piling up against the Hilltop.
You've got to feel pretty good, though. You're still within a touchdown.
Sure.
Because you had 2 turnovers and 2 turnover on downs with those 4th downs you mentioned.
Van Buren lets it go. Incomplete. Xavier Thomas with the catch. Pardon me, the intended receiver. But then again, William Henry Harrison felt good that he ascended to the Oval Office, and he was dead a month later. So how about the footwork?
Watch the footwork here from Van Buren. This is a long route, and look how his feet are choppy. He's way early throwing that football. His feet are not timed up with a deep out-breaking route. He's got to take a 3-step drop there, hitch up, be in rhythm, and let that one rip. Just threw that one way too early.
Van Buren made 8 starts for Mississippi State last year in place of the injured Blake Shapen. Takes it straight ahead for 1.5 yards. We had his first start on the road at Texas, and that was a top 5 Texas team on the road in front of 95,000 there.
Yeah, and I've talked a lot about feet not timing up with the routes, where his eyes are. This was a big offensive transition for him from Mississippi State, where they didn't ask a ton of their quarterback, to a much more quarterback-centric offense, replacing Garrett Nussmeier. The transition wasn't super easy. Still a young quarterback that's growing and developing.
They pick up the rush, and a stretching catch by Barryon Brown. Used every bit of his frame to haul that one in.
And that time his feet were great, and you see a little bit of the raw talent on the throw. Obviously a tough one to come down with for Barryon Brown.
Oh, so it was incomplete.
But watch the footwork here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, hitch up, be in balance, in rhythm, and rip that one.
Yeah, sorry, never had it.
Yeah. That's a good confident throw, though, to come from leaving, the one before way inside and way off to a ball that was pretty good throw, and you'd hope Barryon would come down with that.
Mack won't try this one, and it's down at the 3-yard line. Fantastic play by Chris Hilton. Let's take a look at our high-speed highlights, brought to you by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. LSU's defense carrying the load tonight.
Yeah, the pressure they've put on Rodney Tisdale in this game, the tackles in space, and then forcing turnovers, getting the young quarterback in Tisdale to move off your spot, getting hands in passing lanes, forcing him to throw high or around defenders. Early in this game, the perimeter throws for Western Kentucky were there. And since then, Blake Baker has said to his corners, you're going to play man coverage. You're going to take away space on the outside. And you're going to force them to throw into tight windows or push the ball downfield. And Western Kentucky hasn't been able to do that.
They lead the SEC in picks, and 2 more on the previous 6 plays for this LSU defense is LaBelle Wright. It's tackled by Harold Perkins, who is yet to get up. Harold Perkins Jr. is still down where he made that tackle. Perkins burst on the scene as a freshman. He was unblockable last half of the season and suffered through a torn ACL that limited his 24 campaign to just 4 games.
I think he gets a little friendly fire here. It's going to hit Devon Keys' knee to helmet right there.
It could have also happened on the tackle. He led with his head and took a shot to the side. Kind of pointing at his left hip. Junior out of New Orleans. 2nd and 8. Where does Western Kentucky go?
I think at some point you got to try to take a shot downfield. This is not an ideal spot to do it, so I don't think it's going to be here. But look on the outsides. They are playing press man coverage.
DJ Pickett, number 3, near side, has had a huge game. And that's going to back him up.
False start. Offense number 85. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
And this LSU secondary doing it without Mansour Delane, their best cover corner.
Yeah, DJ Pickett, the true freshman's done a really good job. You're going to see the penalty here on Jackson West, a little flinch. But so when you get man coverage like this, you need to get stacks, bunches, condense the formation, and then you got to get crossers, mesh concepts. But instead, Western Kentucky here is going to spread it out again and probably run the football to give themselves some space for a third down.
Tisdale to throw instead. And off the hands of his intended receiver, Matthew Henry.
Yeah, that was actually a run play. You saw the running back adjust. He took a step forward after Tisdale made a call because the box was stacked. There were 7 guys in the box. It wasn't a good look to run the football. And now a 3rd and long, and this is where Tisdale, an ops coordinator, Rick Bowie's got to remind him, don't make a bad play worse. Don't force anything. Don't hold on to the ball. You're in your own end zone.
That wouldn't be bad for them to go to the 4th quarter down a touchdown.
Yep.
Late change for Blake Baker's defense. They go to 2 safeties now. 5-man rush. Tisdale backing up. Incomplete. That was flirting with danger. Devon Keys was all over Musa Berry. And now they'll have to punt it away from the purple painted end zone.
Well, they brought that cat corner blitz again, bringing DJ Pickett, and Devon Keys on the front side did a great job of covering up the Hilltopper receiver that Rodney Tisdale was trying to target. And another big stop from LSU's defense.
Remember, Xavier Thomas had a huge return late 2nd quarter. He stands in LSU territory at the 46. Good punt. Great punt. Driven back to the 44. Thomas cuts back again, and gets taken down on the logo after a 53-yard punt 4 on the return. Now let's get it to our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
The only thing better than Thanksgiving is deep fried Thanksgiving.
Only 10 points tonight for the LSU offense, led by Michael Van Buren Jr. Averaging just a touch over 4 yards a play. Empty backfield for Van Buren. WKU drops 8, and he finds Barryon Brown, who gets up the sideline, stepped out of bounds at the 40. This is all for show. It'll be a 12-yard gain. And an LSU first down.
Great little quick throw to Barryon Brown, one of your playmakers in space. Boy, he just barely steps out of bounds there. I think the rest of the feet were in bounds, but I like what they're doing here, going 5 wide.
And Van Buren gets bottled up and loses his footing.
You know, you got a quarterback that at times tonight has struggled with what he's seeing and where to go with the football. An easy way to help him out is to spread things out. What that does for a quarterback, it clears the picture. It's harder for a defense to disguise when you're in 4 or 5 wide. So it gives him a better idea of what he's going to get pre-snap. He's able to make quicker decisions. And again, they're going to go 4 wide here on this play.
Likely the final play of the 3rd quarter. And the "We Want Kiffin" chants break out.
That's the end
A season
of
of transition isn't done transitioning for LSU. First, they have to survive the 4th quarter. And then more drama to be had here in the boot. Shirts off. 1-score game. From Baton Rouge, you're watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Who had this one going down to the 4th quarter?
It's a bad night to be a shirt in Baton Rouge.
Isn't it always a bad night to be a shirt in Baton Rouge?
When you hang out with Tom Hart, it is.
2nd and 16 for Michael Van Buren. Will roll the pocket, look to throw, up balance, and fits it in. So Kyle Parker, the sophomore from Allen, Texas, picks up 10.
You know what's interesting? We've seen Van Buren roll to his left like at least 4 times tonight.
Yeah.
That's usually tougher for a quarterback. Sometimes it's just the way it falls depending on what hash you're on. If you're on the right hash and you want to sprint out on a call, you got to go to the left. But I feel like he's pretty comfortable running either way and much more comfortable throwing on the run using his athleticism. We've seen him be successful with that quite a bit tonight.
And on 3rd down, handoff, Jawan Johnson, and he powers his way past the 1st down marker. Jawan Johnson has been electric for LSU the last couple of games. This guy rewrote the Louisiana prep record book. Over 14,000 yards. That broke Brock Berlin's nearly quarter-century old record. And 171 total touchdowns. Wow. Well, at Lafayette Christian. Was a 2-way star at high school before he transferred to got to the quarterback position, and he breaks a tackle or 2 on the far side. We're talking with this coaching staff about him. They said, listen, he's got aspirations of playing the NFL. Came in here as a quarterback, and obviously a well-regarded quarterback. I mean, look at what he was able to accomplish. Mr. Football in the state, joining the likes of Derek Stingley, Leonard Fournette, Joe McKnight, and Cecil the Diesel Collins. And this guy was unstoppable. Came here, wanted to be quarterback. They played him on both sides of the ball early on. Got back in the quarterback room. Then John Henry tore his ACL, so they moved him in the backfield. And Bowers sharp breaks a tackle and goes up top. And hurdles his way to an LSU 1st down at the 15. The coaching staff on Johnson said he has NFL aspirations. He's realized, we've realized, best way to get there is to get out from underneath center. Though he's given him a lift on some trick plays and throwing the ball in that Arkansas game. Van Buren hands it off. Then Harlem Berry, freshman from New Orleans, who put up his own incredible high school numbers, 142 touchdowns, and was a 2,000-yard rusher every season at St. Martin's. On his way to the Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year. And he has received the bulk of the carries here in the tailing points of this lost season for LSU.
And his vision and patience have really improved over the course of the year.
Gets another crack at it on 2nd and 7. We'll set up 3rd and 1.5, maybe 2.
This is the area of the field they struggled on the other side. On a 3rd and 4th and short, they go tempo this time.
Oh, movement on the right side. That'll back them up. This is an LSU offensive line down 2 starters, and the defense is down a couple as well. Whit Weeks will not return.
Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And Harold Perkins Jr. is out with a hip pointer for the remainder of the game. And now Josh Thompson on the right side. Palmer told Perkins is probable. LSU has been listless offensively, but they haven't made a big mistake.
No, not yet. But this is an area that, yeah, you'd settle for a field goal, make it a 2-score game, but you'd love to get a touchdown here. And I'd love for them to target Trey'Dez Green again. He's going to come in motion across the field. See if they find a way to get him the ball.
By the way, I just spotted the dad of the year in that crowd. 3rd down. Van Buren fires back in the end zone. Incomplete. Trying to find Barry on Brown. Jalen Emery had the coverage.
Yeah, Jalen Emery never had vision on the ball that time. Did a good job getting a hand up, and Barryon Brown not able to come down with it.
LSU hasn't had a 2-score lead all night. Damian Ramos, former walk-on from 29 yards, will try to get it for him. They made a chip shot first time. And got to be all the way inside the upright. They say it is. Right over Cole's head. And it's a 10-point LSU lead. We used to play Where's Waldo. Now, where's that dad with his kid on his shoulders sucking down a Coors Light? He's in there somewhere. Well, I'm not sure there are 100,000 people ever in this building tonight, but the ones that are here are having the time of their lives. Despite the fact that LSU, without a current head coach, center of the college football universe with all the rumors swirling like the T-shirts above these half-naked men's heads. It's a 10-point lead for the Tigers. Aaron Burrell with a short kick and a fair catch taken. Okay, ladies, if your husband just texted you, me and Junior are having a great time at the game, believe him, but don't trust him.
This guy right here. Wife texts him, what are you doing? Oh, just, having a Dr. Pepper. It's a calm night.
I bought Junior a necklace.
Yeah. Just dudes being dudes, man. Love it.
This video is going to be played at that kid's wedding in about 23 years.
Not a shirt in sight.
What a trend. Isn't that so much better than 6'7"?
Don't even get me started.
So Rodney Tisdale Jr. trying to get this offense going, facing pressure up the middle, and he fires back shoulder, incomplete. Matthew Henry was the intended receiver. Things seem to be moving a little fast for Rodney Tisdale Jr.
Yeah, so calm in the first half. Seemed in control. Nothing fazed him. He was accurate. And then LSU playing a lot more tight man press coverage. The windows haven't been there, and the pressure has been getting to him a little bit.
Trying to go off tackle, and form tackle made after a gain of 3. Cole, how about this LSU defense tonight?
Stepping up big time, especially the interior of that defensive line. Looked like a little bit confused, maybe outside of their gaps early on. Settled in with a good feel of what kind of runs they were going to get. I think some of the gap scheme stuff kind of threw them off a little bit early, getting displaced, but settled it nice here in the second half.
No Whit Weeks, no Harold Perkins Jr., and Mansour Delane was never in this game. And there's pressure, and Tisdale goes down. Jamari Butler, the senior from Mobile, comes crashing in.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're bringing the corner blitz again, coming from this side. Butler's going to work in and then win on this right tackle, Carson Upchurch. Upchurch think he's just trying to cross his face. Over pursues that a little bit, and Butler able to redirect.
And here's Cole Maynard on to punt it away. Maynard rugby's his way into this one. That is a spiral kick taken at the 25 and now back to the 20. And Xavier Thomas will just step out of bounds. 9:53 to play in the fourth quarter. No shirts, but the Hilltoppers in striking distance. You probably know this timeline, but let's walk you back through to how we got to this point in time. October 25th, LSU laid an egg in the second half against Texas A&M. The result of that is the next day Brian Kelly was shown the door. Good sign. Kelly got to go. And a day after that, Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator, was relieved of his duties. The athletic director who made those calls was not long for the job either. On October 30th, he was gone with plenty of palace intrigue and Louisiana politics playing their role in everything. And now here we are in a dogfight with Western Kentucky in the penultimate game of the regular season with no head coach. And the guy that most of the people in the fan base seemingly at straw polls want to have this job, coaching up the road in Oxford, Mississippi, where his athletic director Keith Carter has announced we'll have an announcement the day after the Egg Bowl, which will be next Saturday. Is that enough for you?
What was the decision by LeBron James? Can we have like a sit down?
No.
with Kiffin.
Hey, don't give Lane any idea.
Put a table out in front of him with 3 hats.
I think he's
recruiting style.
Just do whatever on social media. Straight ahead. Can you imagine, by the way, the response in the entire state of Mississippi, or at least in Oxford, if he came out and he just said, I'm not leaving, and he went Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street, oh, with the mic and everything.
Yeah, do that. Halftime of the Egg Bowl.
That'd be amazing.
Although, how did it end for him in that movie? Not great.
I just went to jail for a little while.
He had fun on the way.
Yeah.
The FBI shows up on the boat. That's a bad sign. Here's a blitz, and they hit Van Buren, and he sails it high. Incomplete. Jalen Emery came flying in all the way from Bowling Green and put Van Buren on his back.
Yeah, this is just something you got to be able to check. If protection's going one way, you got to have vision there first. You see Van Buren's going to be looking to his right away, so never sees the nickel cornerback come on that blitz. That's one of those things. As a quarterback, you got to know we're sliding to the right. So I'm hot if one comes from the left. And that's got to be just the first thing you peek. Peek that guy. If he doesn't come, great. Move on with your progression. And if he does come, you got to throw that hot and protect yourself.
Fair catch taken at the 26, 44-yard punt from Grant Chadwick. Let's go down to the field. Here's Cole Kublik.
The areas of this LSU defense that I feel like has improved the most over this past year is the interior of this defensive line. And the guy that they put in charge of it is former NFL and LSU defensive lineman Kyle Williams. Had a chance to catch up with him before the game, and he said some of the intricate details of angles, hand placement. He said, but honestly, it was just a couple of things that we needed to focus in on every single day. That was striking the offensive lineman, finishing plays, and just playing with enthusiasm. A few things that he felt like had been lost from the interior of this defensive line.
Tisdale setting up the screen, and Katie Hutchinson with the reception. By the way, you saw Kyle pregame. Cole, would you describe that handshake as a vice grip?
Yeah, he's a dude I wouldn't want to play against. I'm just going to be honest with you. Just number one, the way he's built, still doesn't really have a neck.
Necks are overrated.
Just like 290 pounds of muscle walking around. And yeah, that handshake was fierce, to say the least.
He was coaching high school ball, and they put out some feelers to him asking, who do you think we should hire to coach on the D-line? Would you be interested? By the way, after 6 Pro Bowl appearances with the Bills, he was also a scratch golfer playing regularly. Get put the clubs away while you're coaching football, I think.
Doesn't feel like that flexibility would be great on that backswing, but
probably hit it a country mile. Tisdale pressured again. It's West Weeks with the sack, 4th of the night for LSU.
Oh, it's what we call a green dog from West Weeks. Initially, he's got responsibility of the running back, but as soon as the running back releases, he's free to blitz. So you got motion here, but as soon as this running back releases, this linebacker goes with him, and that means Weeks can come on what we call the green dog. He's adding to the blitz late.
So that green, like a green light, signifies
you can go, right? If your guy leaves and another guy has responsibility, green light, go get the quarterback, and worked out perfectly.
Another beautiful punt. Cole Maynard, that's a 50-yarder, and a fair catch taken. Cole would go on a red light. Be careful when he's driving. Weeks brothers having an impact tonight. This time it's West, and on senior night he comes up with a big play.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet.
A couple of programs who have produced some pro quarterbacks. Joe Burrow is still banged up. He was on the practice field for Cincinnati this week. 62 touchdowns, most all-time in 21. Joe Burrow's second all-time in an incredible season in 19. And then here's a step-through run by Harlan Berry. Elite speed, and finally knocked out just shy of midfield. Harlan Berry picks up 25 yards. Western Kentucky has a total of 4 yards this half.
Yeah, it's a really good job being patient at first, then getting north and south. See him squeeze through that block. That's a gap scheme, so he's got to wait for the pullers to come around, find that gap, and hit it with speed. Really good job there by Harlan Berry, in the longest play from LSU tonight.
He was state champion in the 100 and 200 meter races. He was the #1 running back in the nation in the last recruiting cycle, coming out of St. Martin's in New Orleans. And Barry gets spun around, taken down by Jalen Lewis.
That's been part of the lack of explosive plays this year for LSU. When they came into this game last in the SEC with only 56 explosive plays, while the SEC average is around 84. They haven't been able to get the run game going, so therefore the play action passing game hasn't been there to hit some of those chunk plays in the pass game. You'd love to see them try to take a shot downfield, take advantage of the speed as Western Kentucky worries about this run game.
Well, they'll try it with Marion Brown on the touch pass, and he takes it for the first down. Under 5.5 to play, and another first down for LSU. Van Buren delivers a strike to Juwan Johnson. Do you know Van Buren's vice president was named Johnson?
I didn't know that, Tom.
And his backup quarterback now being used as a receiver out of the backfield.
Wow. Do you know the name of the fourth president?
Nope.
I don't either. I was just wondering if you did.
Here's Johnson again. And that's good for an LSU first down. There he is.
I mean, elite chop game. The chops on this guy, well beyond his years. A style icon.
How old would he be right now?
243. A spry 243, though.
Kinderhook. Martin Van Ruin, the mistletoe politician.
I bet you he could spin a pig skin back then.
Yeah, nickname was the Little Magician.
They didn't. When was football invented? I should probably know that.
LSU, the first of the half. 30-second timeout.
Long after Mr. Van Buren was with us, above ground. I think your social studies teacher would be awfully proud of you sharing your knowledge of presidential history tonight.
Was it, or sharing my lack of knowledge is,
Either way,
is better.
Works.
Yeah.
It's been, let's be honest, it's been a very forgettable season for LSU.
Yes.
So give them some entertainment tonight as best we can. And then the next step is trying to figure out who's going to be coaching this team next year.
Yeah, there's one guy that we heard everybody chanting here in the stadium that's going to have a decision to make here in a week. But look, I think the reason Lane Kiffin is in the conversation for all these coaching jobs, and believe you, all these teams would love to have Lane Kiffin, his ability to develop and also attract talent. Yeah. He has a track record of developing guys like Jackson Dart from a young age, and then also grabbing a Division II quarterback in Trinidad Chambliss, who was the backup, and turn him into a quarterback and take it to the playoffs.
I think what's interesting is obviously not the only SEC job open. Yeah. Arkansas, Florida, Auburn. In fact, I was watching your social media today. You very nearly called the Florida-Tennessee game, right?
Yes.
You had to prepare for that game
I
and
did.
call this one?
Yeah. You know, it
pays to watch your Instagram story.
People don't realize, Kirk Herbstreit's flying from Eugene, Oregon to Gainesville, Florida. What happens if there's a mechanical issue on the plane?
Yeah, the plane can't take off.
Someone's got to do it. So every now and then I prep to back up Kirk in case something crazy happens, and Cole would jump up here with you, and so you get to play musical chairs.
Your Florida-Tennessee chart too. I mean, you could have been calling that game. It's basically done.
I think you were looking at my Florida-Tennessee chart, which is why you called the starting quarterback Martin instead of Michael.
I think the president's a great nickname for Mr. Van Buren. Tennessee finished off Florida 31-11.
I hope that catches on. That's a great nickname.
I think so.
I'm gonna shoot a little DM to Mr. Michael Van Buren after the game and say, hey, you might want to run with this one. It's a good one.
Well, if you're just tuning in from that blowout between Tennessee and Florida, just 4 total yards for Western Kentucky the second half. This was a 7th 3 game at the half. In fact, it was a 3-0 game until very late second quarter with Western Kentucky out in front. Trades Green has the only touchdown of the night on a pass from Van Buren, and here's Juwan Johnson straight ahead.
Well, I've talked about the defensive adjustments that Blake Baker has made.
Their third and final of the second half. 30-second timeout.
It's not just this week, though. And obviously the opponent, you'd hope that LSU could find ways to shut them down, but they held the number 5 offense in the country, Arkansas, to just 2 touchdowns. They held Alabama to 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals to 20 points. It's a high-powered offense. This defense has played really well the last month or so.
And even before that, they picked off DJ Lagway 5 times.
Yeah. Early in the year, yeah.
And now 3rd and 1. It'll be a tough test for Frank Wilson to take his team to Norman next week. And usually LSU and Oklahoma meet in the postseason, including for national championships. And Oklahoma aiming for the postseason. Here's a look at the top 7. Many out of conference today. Texas improved to 5-2. Right there with Oklahoma and Vanderbilt.
Well, it's pretty crazy that we're this late in the season. There's still really 4 teams that have an opportunity to play in the SEC championship.
It won't be decided until next week as Barry is bottled up, and how many teams with the chance to play for a national title?
Yeah,
with 5,
6 maybe.
I mean, Texas has a chance to deliver a massive blow next Friday night on ABC. Handing A&M what would be its first loss in one of the best rivalries in college sports. 4th and 2, they're going to go for it. We get a little misdirection here. I don't see Juwan Johnson out on the field.
They brought in Bernard Gooden. Or is that Donovan Green? Oh, it was Donovan Green. I thought, oh, maybe they brought in a defensive guy. Nope, just another tight end.
They're going to think about timeout here.
Timeout, LSU. Their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
You think they're talking presidential trivia? James Madison being the 4th president, or something different?
What are you over there, just Wikipediaing everything?
I don't know how I confuse these two. Old Kinderhook on the left and new Kinderhook on the right. I'm glad I made a mistake and I misspoke once in this game. We turned it into a 3.5-hour bit that I'm sure everybody is tired of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people tuning in like, why is Martin Van Buren on a screen in 2025? What is happening?
Shout out to the Van Buren family. Hope you're doing well.
Which one?
Both of them. What a weird night in this stadium. I mean, it's got great energy. Those dudes ripped off the shirts. Even Mike the Tiger has his shirt off. The dad is still there.
Still rocking. Kid is still on his shoulders.
Golly, they're never going to forget this night.
Koozy's still on his drink.
Actually, he might forget it. Yeah, but Kid won't. 4th and 2. Out of the timeout, and Van Buren fires, and Trades Green has it knocked away before he could secure it. 3 minutes, 16 seconds left. Western Kentucky has some life, and weirder things have happened.
Boy, another time that this is one Van Buren can't force. He's trying to get the ball to Trades Green on a deep over route, but watch Bauer Sharp release right here on the delayed release. If you just dump it down to him. I think originally that's probably his second read. Tries to get it to the big 6'7" target. I don't blame him. But when you see everybody go deep, just dump it down.
6'7"?
Stop it. Stop it. How old are you? Too old.
Yes.
You and Martin Van Buren.
Too old and too immature. 8-win Western Kentucky, just the 3rd non-conference team to come into the stadium with 8 wins all time. And a strike delivered over the middle and a first down to Jarius Mack. Mack had a back injury, missed the last couple of games. He's back, and that's a 20-yard gain.
Boy, finally a positive play for this offense that mustered just 4 yards up until that point in the second half.
A little wide from Tisdale. aiming for Mack. Western Kentucky in a three-way tie for first, and CUSA, they get the Gamecocks at Jacksonville State next week to decide who will play for the title. Here's a look at the standings. Kennesaw State won today. Jack State lost today. So we got a log jam up top in CUSA. Tisdale over the middle and incomplete. He was out ahead of Mack. Deshaun Spears out of Denham Springs is down the road, knocked it down. 3rd and 10. 0 for 4 on third downs in the second half. Four-man rush. And Tisdale taken down again. Jamari Butler with sack number 5 on the night for the LSU defense.
Boy, it's a big stunt. Butler coming from the far left side of Tisdale all the way back around for that sack, and now 4th down. You gotta have it if you're Western Kentucky.
They caused LSU to burn a timeout because Western Kentucky went tempo and ran on top of the ball. And Blake Baker said, I got plenty of stoppages left. They used their last with 2:38 to play. And the Hilltoppers looking at a 4th and 15. Well, we're talking with head coach Tyson Helton this week. And he said, we played aggressive in these big games over the years. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Blown out the last couple of years at Alabama, at Ohio State. But they were aggressive against Arkansas in 2019 and got a win in Fayetteville by converting 5 4th downs. They had a 4th and goal that they failed to convert in the first half, and then a 4th down near midfield in the second quarter that they turned it over on and led to LSU's lone touchdown of the night. So here it is, last gasp for the Hilltoppers. 4th and 15. 3-man rush. Tisdale can't run with it and gets taken down again. It's Bernard Gooden. And LSU is going to survive tonight.
Well, it's a great call by Blake Baker. He's going to rush 3, and he's going to have Harold Perkins, his best athlete on the field, just spy this entire time. Just wait, see if Tisdale tries to escape, which he does, and Perkins all over it. Again, great coverage on the back end, man coverage with safety over the top, nowhere to go with the football. That should do it for LSU. Western Kentucky with no timeouts left. Still got to pick up a 1st down probably, or close to it, but 2-score game here. LSU's going to get out of this with a scare, but most likely a win.
Cole, you had an idea this was going to be a close game late. What gave you that feeling, and what have you seen unfold tonight?
Well, I think part of that was going to be the operation of the offense that Western Kentucky brought. You have an explosive group. You're probably going to get some man coverage, so some of the quick throws, you can make a player or two miss. You're going to be able to generate some things. And I mean, guys, we talked to Alex Atkins together, the offensive coordinator on the interim for LSU, and I mean, he was frustrated with the way the offense has been producing and the way that the offense has been going out there and running plays, trying to put some new things in. So it was hard to imagine with an aggressive defense that gives you different looks that they were going to be able to go out here and execute a lot.
10-point LSU lead, 2-minute timeout. Thirteen to 3, LSU with the lead. Good times had by all in the stands tonight. Even to getting hit in the face with a random T-shirt. Both sides out of stoppages. And to the ground game, Harlem Berry inside the 30. Well, this is pregame, his senior day here, and one of those seniors is Brian Kelly's son. This is Kenzel Kelly coming out pregame. Pay special attention to that T-shirt he's got underneath his jersey. Former Grand Valley State player.
Go Tigers! Long live BK! Free my boy! Free my boy BK! You know who?
You ever call your dad your boy?
No, never did.
Was a GLIAC all-academic performer at Grand Valley, where his dad had great success at the Division II level before advancing through his coaching career. Ball came out, scooped up by Western Kentucky. Dylan Flowers is going to take it to the house, and with a minute left, the Hilltoppers are suddenly back in this game with an onside kick away from putting the heat on LSU. It's a 73-yard fumble return for Flowers.
Wow, Jordan Donald, the true freshman for the Hilltoppers, comes in and punches this one out. Gets his left hand right on the ball. Really actually on the lower forearm, and so it squirts the ball out from Harlem Berry. He's got to have better ball security in that. That's one that in the huddle before the play in the 2-minute warning, you got to say, hey, 2 hands on the ball.
Yep.
Doesn't matter, right? That's the only thing that could happen to let Western Kentucky back in this game.
Officially a 71-yard return all night. LSU avoided the disastrous play. It occurs with 1:05 remaining. And now the point after. And now Western Kentucky will have an onside kick opportunity.
Because why not? You know? Nobody's had a shirt on in 3 quarters. We've had Lane Kiffin chance.
It was just a big old party, and now a fourth quarter hangover.
Wow.
Yeah, they've lost some enthusiasm. All right, let's see what Tyson Helton's got drawn up. The onside opportunity.
0 for LSU is wearing 84.
They'll go with a hands team. That's Xavier Thomas, who's switching jerseys to get out there. In fact, they'll have Tamarcus Cooley and Thomas on the field. Both 0. One of them's got 84 on. It'll be Cannon to put it on a tee. This guy, Cannon, their field goal kicker, Jack Cannon from Fort Lauderdale, will handle it.
You got Tradez Green back there. You got a couple linebackers, including West Weeks, out in front of Tradez Green, probably to try to be a blocker. Jack Pyburn as well. But maybe Western Kentucky's going to try to kick it to the other side here.
Yeah, look, he's going to set up for some wicked spin.
Yeah.
6 to the near side, 4 to the top. And now they'll send guys in motion. It never gets the hop. It is covered by Devon Keys.
Boy, that is a great catch by a linebacker. That's the guy you usually want blocking for the big bounce to have Tradez Green catch it behind him, but a little, like you said, spinner, a little sideways spinner here, and Keys does a great job of taking this one off the second bounce, protecting himself, and wow, LSU will get out of here with the win.
Please set the game clock to 1 minute 2 seconds, 1:02.
Well, all they have to do is take a knee.
Thank you.
LSU heads to Norman next week. And we'll have a chance to play spoiler against the Sooners. First ever trip to Norman. And Van Buren takes the knee.
Yeah, you might want to take the under for that one next week. Both these defenses playing really well. Oklahoma obviously so good on defense. LSU playing great last few weeks on defense. Offense, a little optional tonight at times for the Tigers.
It was very polite of you. 329 yards of offense for LSU. Michael Van Buren, 25 of 42. 25 completions to get him to 202 yards. So it's now 70 wins in their last 71 home games against non-conference opponents since 2000.
And the next time these fans see a game at Tiger Stadium, there will be a new head coach for the LSU Tigers. Who that's going to be, not sure yet. We might find out more next week, but a new era for LSU is about to start.
Yeah, you might find out before LSU plays Oklahoma on Saturday afternoon. Let's get you down the field. Cole is standing by with interim head coach Frank Wilson.
Coach, I know it wasn't pretty, but you have to be proud of the grit your team showed to be able to pull off a win.
We found a way to win against a game team who came into the game 8-2 with a prolific offense, and I'm glad our team found a way to win this football game.
How do you explain your defense's performance? You get all 3 Weeks brothers on the field at the same time. A couple takeaways over the course of that game really stood out.
I thought they were spectacular. To give up 3 points against a high-scoring offense the way this opponent was, to be stout, to create turnovers is something I'm very proud of. Hats off to Blake Baker and our defensive staff.
First trip to Norman, possibility to keep them out of the college football playoff. What's the messaging to the team this week?
We're going to enjoy this one tonight, and we're going to prepare to get on the road to play a top 10 team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Cole, fantastic work as usual. Blake Baker's defense getting it done tonight. They hold Western Kentucky to just 10 points, and the takeaways and 4th down stops were the differences in this one tonight. So LSU will head to Norman, and Western Kentucky heads to Jacksonville State with a chance to play for a CUSA title. Senior night here at Tiger Stadium, and LSU survives in a season of turmoil. They tread water through this one and head to Norman to close it out. Speaking of Norman, here's OU's Darian Open.